No, not for us.
I don't know, Scott. Why are you being weird, huh?
Oh, he's muted on stream. Okay. Oh, yeah, he's not muted for us. Scott's not muted for us. So it's weird apparently. Apparently we should be getting the same. Like if it's unmuted on stream, it should be unmuted. If it... Okay.
So fix it.
Quick test. Translate for us. I'm trying. He's trying to fix it.
I think I fixed that.
There we go. Apparently.
All right. Okay, that works. But why is this mute button not working? What literally? Oh, shit! This literally happened as we went live. Sorry. Because that's not set for the right microphone, which is weird. Oh, probably because it was an update to what's the thing that we use, Tesh?
Voice mod.
Voice mod. It was an
voice
update.
Mod got real angry when I started it, like real angry.
Oh yeah.
It gave me this big thing saying, "Oh, which mic are you using?" I selected it. It closed the application, uninstalled, and reinstalled.
Oh,
it's like okay.
Thanks, voice mod. All right, let's see if a.
Now I can't hear you.
Yeah, awesome. All right, now it's fixed. Sorry. Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's been a couple weeks. It's been an interesting couple weeks. So, what's up, man?
I'm counting the points that I have for my armor augments because I forgot to before.
Oh, that's right. We leveled last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I am not ready for today. I have not prepared properly because I did not know we were on today.
Oh, that's fine. No biggie. That just means you're easier to kill. I mean, you level as we go. Did you guys roll health points yet?
No,
Should we...
not to.
All right, cool. Let's open with rolling health points. That's a good way to kind of get us into the mindset. Jake is around. He does have his Bluetooth headset. He can hear us. He's just getting the kids settled down. He said that if they don't, calm down, within the first 15, 30 minutes, he's just going to give them a ton of Benadryl. And that should take care of the problem shortly afterwards. I am just kidding. Jake is not using medicine to put his kids to sleep. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Disclaimer. Scott is an idiot. I'm kidding.
Oh, hey, Cat.
Funny enough, Brittany got stung by 5 bees the other day. And
sorry about that. It was me. I was each one of the bees.
Yes. Well, wait a second.
Just had to repeatedly.
What do you mean you were stinking my wife the other day, huh? She had 3 stings on her ass. What was that about, Neil? Anyways, so she, because obviously she was in discomfort, she took Benadryl to reduce the hive reaction that she got. Not an allergic reaction, but the basic one. And I've never seen Brittany get all sleepy before like that. She legit passed out, took a nap in the middle of the day, took a nap at the end of the day, and then went to sleep by 9 o'clock. It was so funny. But the napping part, not the bee sting part. All right, you guys get to do your health points?
Fuck it.
All right.
Okay, that's not too bad. It's straight down the middle.
Very middling, but it
That's
didn't
right.
show on stream.
Oh, it didn't?
Nope. You're good. That's my side. There you go.
And
It's
Cat
on stream
came
now.
back.
Right here.
That's exciting, isn't it?
Is it the first time she ever went out by herself?
No, but it's the first time we had literally let her go.
Ah.
She's like crept out a couple times.
Hmm. Well,
But never,
again, you might bump into what we're dealing with right now. So,
no, because my cat loves me.
I
I'm
mean,
literally her world.
mine still lives in the yard and still says hi to me in the morning. So, there's that. Neil, you want to roll your health?
I was waiting for you to finish your fixing of the dice. You ready?
Yep. Oh, I fixed it. It was just a button click. Oh, I forgot I did something for Warmonger.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
awesome. Norway
Do I
dropped.
get that HP now? Does it add?
Yes, yeah. I do it that when you level, it gets added onto your current.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, Viggo's here. Okay, here we go. Awesome. So then I guess it's for Gallon. Gallon, there was actually a reroll that was put into chat.
Ooh.
The other two rolled high enough that they're not going to want it.
Ooh,
You went up by one.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, I'll take it. Any amount of health I can get, I will take.
Not a
This is
problem.
very important. I mean, I'm not saying I survived from a vampire on like under 10 HP multiple times. Definitely 1 HP one time, but HP matters, guys.
I'm glad you're here for that PSA for us, Neil. Tersh, your microphone is a little poppy. It doesn't bother me, but just so you're aware in case you know of a quick fix.
It
You don't have to
doesn't
do it,
bother
though.
me, but fix it, Tash.
No. You don't have to fix it, but I'm making you aware because if I didn't, you'd be like, why didn't you
just
tell
want to
me?
let you know, Tash.
Is that better?
It doesn't
that better?
annoy me at all. Doesn't bother me, but if you could fix it, that'd be great. But don't worry
that
about it. I'm Karen, by the way. I'm Karen.
Is that better?
I don't know. Neil's talking too much. Now you're just gone. I think we made it worse. I should have not said something, but I know it's one of those things where if it's not said, you'd be like, why did you let me know?
Look, no offense, Scott.
Yeah.
Your
Mhm.
beard.
Yeah.
Great.
Is that better?
If you know a quick fix, maybe
Sounds it.
Can of black
Okay,
spray
good.
paint.
Yeah, I got black spray paint and black paint. And just go
Yeah,
give
it's the mic has stopped. Remember when it used to? This is the same mic. Remember when it used to randomly pitch me down? So it stopped that. Now it started this. So.
Unfortunately, it happens.
If it makes you feel better, Tesh.
Oh, holy shit! Hype train.
I don't
Oh, is
remember that at all. You know what I was going to say? I was going to say, should we get to a level 5 hype train to have Scott spray paint his beard?
I am not spray painting my beard. Instead, what I'm going to do is I need to get a haircut, and then I'll trim my beard.
Okay. So what? We'll trim it off. You'll trim it off, and there'll just be a black spray painted beard underneath.
That'd be terrible. Oh, no, thank you. All right, so Tesh, you did get another reroll if you want to use it. Now it's a gamble. Like, I hope it works out for you.
Oh, so it's I rolled a 6 last time, which is like that's average, isn't it?
Yeah. You rolled a 5, then a 6, yeah.
You're on a D8. You rolled a 6, right?
No,
D10.
D10.
Ooh.
D10.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do I try?
I mean, I think you should, personally. I think that's exciting. Oh, hey, Nori. Thanks.
I mean, chat was kind enough to give you a reroll.
Yeah, you know what? Chat was kind enough. Let's give it a shot.
I mean, I could always, Oh, it paid off! That's amazing!
Fuck yeah!
No way says no beard painting. Sorry, Scott. Beard painting's off. You're
Full
not
send. Yeah, that was worth. Okay, so
Ah.
that's had 8, so it's plus 3. Okay, cool.
By the way, True Blue was who gave you the second reroll. Norway gave you the first reroll. Norway likes things to be extremely balanced, so it coming in at average makes him happy. And then True Blue gave it to you. So, awesome.
That puts me into the 60s. Fuck yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry you're old now. No, so what is that? 60, 61?
62.
62. That's well into the 60s.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So what you're saying is if I hit you for 60 points of damage, you could live.
Yes. Well, there is massive damage to deal with.
So if I hit you for 75 points of damage, you might live? Yeah, you should live that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like that is one con away from being dead.
I'm going to slash R 10d10 you. Oh, that's
I
nothing.
live.
Yeah, you have DR and everything. That's nothing.
Yeah.
What's your DR?
3 at the moment, so that's 50 damage.
That's exactly death from massive damage. You still taking photos. All right. Let's get into where we left off at the very least.
Getting exactly 50 damage and dying from death from massive damage.
Well,
that would suck.
It's happened to me before, where I had a bad guy that had well over 100 health points, and the first hit he took was in the 50s. I don't remember, 50, 53, whatever.
One killed
One?
the one in the Astral Sea. He killed one of the guys with death from massive damage with like an arrow thing.
That may have been. I mean, I was talking about an old in-person campaign.
Oh, okay.
But that could have been a time too. I don't remember what he did there. Either way, it's yeah, but it sucks. So, like, okay, well,
like a humanoid killing arrow that one hurled at someone and did it like just a bit of a 50 damage. And killed them with death from massive damage.
Yeah, that could have been another example of it. That's funny, but yeah, no, it happens. I mean, you at least hope that like the amount of damage they take is near to their current. You know what I mean? But if you're like, I have 172 health, and they're like, I did exactly 50 damage, you die, and you're like, it's less than a third.
I put a fan on. If it would be better if it was like a percentage, wouldn't it? I got a fan on. If you can hear it, just let me know.
Yeah, a percentage of the minimum threshold. You know what I mean? Because you also don't want.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I sadly don't think I've killed many people with massive damage, and like that's kind of my entire character's purpose is to kill people. Swift.
Every time you've done your massive amounts of damage, it's been to an undead or non-lethal. Like that. Yeah, so you haven't had the opportunity to death from massive damage anyone yet.
Yeah, any real people that you've hit that with, they drop anyways. Because you're like
exactly, yeah.
But it does have to hit the 50 minimum, and you don't always hit that. You often hit like 38, 47, somewhere in there. So, but either way,
only if I'm not charging.
Kamehameha that shit.
Yeah, I think I literally can't hit. Yeah, with the lance, if I'm charging and a power attack, I have a plus 39. So
nice. Okay.
Plus 21 with just a charge. So
Jesus, so much damage.
It really is.
Last session when we left off, I believe we literally ended with no, you guys did not just get upstairs. That's right. I forgot to show you that too. Oh, that's gonna be super cool to show. I'll show that in a second. But last session when we went ended, you went upstairs, and then you met somewhere. Because Tesh was able to go and check out the coastline.
We went back and saw the chaos that Regicide destroyed the house that we were staying at.
Oh yes, that's where you went to. You went back to there. That's right. That's exciting. All right. So, Tristan, I wanted to show you this, by the way. Your little mini on the map. It's right here for you. Okay, you see it?
Yeah.
Click on that, and then click the button that says dismount. Or better yet, I should click the button that says mount in the top left-hand corner.
The good news or the bad news?
You can click on that.
Buttons. I see the buttons and I click them.
Oh no.
Oh, Bosco.
Sorry, that just means no. That just means the API needs to see a reset. Otherwise, things like luck, if it got added, which did it, no, wouldn't work either. So give me half a sec.
Safely remove the alternate me.
Give me 1 second.
There's two me's.
Don't worry about it.
It's totally not a doppelganger. Don't worry about it.
I got a cat.
All right, try it now. I think it reset. Spinning up new sandbox, loading. Okay, yeah. Boom.
Oh.
Now click it and press dismount.
Oh my god, holy shit.
Is this what this token mod API thing is?
Yeah.
That's
Look at that.
very cool.
Right? So it makes you, yeah. It makes you happy. Because now you get your regular mini and that one. I did a fun one for Jake. I haven't done Tesh's yet. Tesh's is more complicated. The Gallon one. Yeah, yours requires me to do things like when you click buttons, it changes your character's vision. Gets dark vision, loses dark vision, things like that. And it's just like, but that's what I'm working on.
With my token, why do I have 21 in a blue thing?
That's your
None
AC.
of my resources are 21. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's always where AC was. Yeah. And then for Viggo's, fun fact.
Also, would I have lost the 11 temp health that I had at the end of last session? Does that carry over?
Yes, you would have lost it. Yes.
Cool.
Yep. So Viggo's has one that makes him mutate. Hold on. Roll20 is lagging. There we go. Makes him mutate. He can mutate back. He also likes to get bigger and mutate. Or he can get smaller and mutate back. So I made a couple for him as well while I was on vacation. All right. I just remembered that because we haven't played this game in a few weeks. While I was on vacation, I was putting that together. All right, cool. We got back to what's his name? Risen's place, right? Super exciting. So why don't we you got back there, you found out that apparently they broke in, went around, and he started searching. I think he started immediately searching throughout his library is where we ended the session, isn't it?
I can't remember if what was like the ending drop.
Yeah, it was
one.
I believe it was that he was searching the around his library to see if anything was taken. And
where we ended was
things were
more or less we went to sleep, I think, because I had to do long-term care for Neil or something.
That's right, you did long-term care on both of us, I believe.
Yeah.
So we healed our amount overnight, and I leveled and got 10 HP, and I still only have 32. 32, sorry.
Well, did he though? But did he give you a heal check to make you heal double overnight?
Probably. I was pretty low.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, you already rolled for that. Okay.
Like for the past
you're at
6 sessions, I've been pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Courtesy of a Minotaur and a vampire.
Well, but this is super badass because the next day he's gonna wake up with the new ability for extracts. You could almost imagine. I mean, I allow Jake to choose and to RP it how he wants to, but you could almost imagine like overnight, like while he's sleeping, he like wakes up with an epiphany of how it is he can make the extract safer for you, and you get to be the guinea pig in the morning to see if it works. You know what I mean? And he can literally just like spam heal potions down your throat to fix your problem. So I think it would be a fun RP moment, like pulling it in to Jake's character being like, drink for me, you know?
That's really creepy.
Yeah. I mean, we are playing a vampire campaign right now, so maybe it's a goblet of red wine. But either way, Jake did like literally 0 RP. I think he actually didn't even speak at all on Monday night, so he can make up for it with some fun Viggo RP to, you know, break the typecast.
I mean, who's he going to speak to?
You.
Your buddy Nick.
Fair. Actually, Cell wasn't there on Monday either, so yeah. Without Cell there, we did lack a certain.
Very different game, all right?
Yeah.
When we do Kingdom stuff, there's not really much I can chime in and say.
You can interact. I'm just kidding. If you did, it gets slower.
As well as like half the advisors are now missing, like our personal advisors are missing from each other's cleanse now as well.
He needs his Ray
So-
Ren, Scott. He needs his Ray Ren.
They're in the timeline now where the martyr just got risen.
He exists.
Wait, the martyr just got risen.
Yep, she got him. She gave him a hug.
What?
They're going on a date.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're
going
going
steady.
on a date. Wow.
Yeah, going steady.
So she doesn't really care about sort of.
You know what the fuck I mean. The martyr just became a goddess. The actions of Kingmaker just kicked in. But Jake, we'll kick it to you guys. In the morning, everybody wakes up. I think everybody's at full health except for Neil.
Nope.
Oh, you're not either? How are you feeling?
I'm 49 of 62.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah, one day of full rest and you'd be fine. So, all right, cool. So let's bring it to RP in the morning, where Risen has made a list of the books that are missing, at least that he's been able to identify, and he's not too happy. He has his dead butler he has to get rid of, and you guys went and slept upstairs. And I think it was Risen's bedroom that was like sopping wet. So, from the ice melting.
Not ours.
And doesn't have a butler to clean it up. Yeah. Well, you. And it doesn't have a butler to clean it up for him, so he has to go and like cast Mage Hand or Unseen Servant or something to take care of it. You know, it's so much work.
Prestidigitation.
Yeah, that's a lot of castings of prestidigitation. Anyways, so continuing on.
Unseen Servant's about the same as that boy.
Multiple castings, I imagine, would be more efficient. Unseen Servant lacks a lot of strength that a ghoul or whatever it was would have, a white would have. All right. So, kicking it into the morning. You guys get up. You're feeling all right, Gallon. You know what I mean? That typical, you said it was a rough day kind of feeling, but overall you're feeling fine. Viggo, I mean, you probably still have a cramp in your side from all that running away. But Triss, you're probably still not used to waking up with so many injuries. Almost like I imagine missing life on the farm a little bit. But we can have your characters come downstairs, and when you go downstairs, when you had spent the night at Risen's before, the one or two times in the past, breakfast was made for you. So there's almost this like instinctive like either expectation or hope. Then we go downstairs, breakfast is ready.
Oh.
It's not. It's not ready. Because what's his name didn't make breakfast for you. Risen didn't make breakfast. So we'll gather you guys around the table downstairs. Maybe with that awkward understanding of like, do we eat rations? Can we can we just make eggs? Like it's in our house. Like I don't know how you want to.
I would imagine you guys
find some eggs and bacon.
Sure.
When you guys get down there, you'll notice Viggo is he'll probably be just like pacing around the kitchen, I guess.
Someone had an excitable
When
dream.
When he sees you, he says, "How are you feeling, Triss?"
Feeling like I'm full of stitches and bruises, possibly some cracked ribs.
I did all I can, but and he pulls out a vial and he gives it to you and he goes, "Take this."
Oh, he popped
You
the
can
cap
roll a
off and
sense
say-
motive if you want.
He popped the cap off and say, healing potion.
Because the guy
Hold on.
will be like, what the fuck's why is he only just producing this
Okay.
now? Oh no, I fully believe it. It's a healing potion.
Yeah.
Actually, where'd you find that? I thought we were out.
Around.
It looks different too.
It does look
I
different.
honestly probably expected he's stealing from prison. Like that's literally what
Yeah,
Gal would have been.
literally, yeah.
Right,
I'm like,
so
this is
you-
one of Risen's. Usually I wouldn't, but I literally have like wounds that are just held by stitches and bandages. So I give it a little...
It tastes horrible, just so you know. Absolutely horrible. But
You definitely watch him
roll
gag.
this.
And then, just risen bacon with dead things.
There you go.
Holy shit.
It's a good roll too. It's almost max.
Can I make my saving throw? No, I can.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. That's funny.
Just nothing.
It does
What's your health looking like now?
42 plus 21.
Oh god damn.
Pretty good. You'd see any obvious marks that he has on him. Probably bruising would fade. Wounds that had stitches in would probably turn a nice pink color and knit together slightly, but still be a bit puckered. But like they're well on their way to being fully healed. They're closed.
Okay,
After the gag. Oh, sorry.
As your wounds do close and Viggo notices, you just see like that his facade cracks and he just goes, oh, I'm so glad that worked.
What?
Well, you see, up until now, the reason, the things I take don't work for you and Gallon. And it's taken me all night, but I think I've managed to stabilize it.
Wait, it took you one night and you thought you'd just try it on me first thing.
Listen,
Well, I mean, you couldn't.
if we're being honest, I can't take Dreyfus. And
oh no, I'm not going to turn into that furry thing, am I?
no, but that is the next thing I could work on.
He pushes the Sonic costume back into the closet.
I wonder. It's the makeup of that is very different, but I wonder if I was managed to stabilize that, if you would have the same effect as, say, me. Next project.
Watching Tristan's reactions.
Not sure I would like to find out.
You never know when the time may call for it, though. If you weren't half dead, I probably wouldn't have came up with this as quick as I did.
Right. I guess there's always a silver lining.
Everything worked out in the end. That's what we've got to remember.
You couldn't change the flavor, could you? Tastes kind of like you've shit in my mouth.
You see, he pulls a different looking vial out and he gets something and adds it, kind of swirls it around, looks, and he says, and like he doesn't say anything, he just kind of like looks at you and passes you another one. Down the hatch.
Gallon just sits down and watches.
He'd take it, look at Gallon, in for a copper, in for a gold.
This isn't as good.
Here's the question. Because the flavor is already in there, does the flavor stack? That's awesome. Does the flavor stack, or is it less or is it like, well, some things taste like really bad. If you have more of it, it doesn't taste that much worse. But some things taste really bad and you have more of it and it's just that much worse.
This one is sickly sweet.
Cloying.
He'd probably start itching and pull out the stitches that remain. Wince a little bit. And then you'd see them close up, leaving probably just slightly pinkish skin. That one tasted better.
Well, that's good. So it seems as though the compound works in multiple different ones then. Good to know.
All right. Well, Since I've been your test subject, he'll pass the cast iron frying pan to you. I think we could do with some breakfast. And then he'll sit down at the table. Sir.
Yeah.
All right, so Viggo looks around the kitchen. There's obviously a fireplace area, right?
Yeah, a stove. Yeah.
I love the idea that as he's doing that, Galen just pulls out rations and stuff. Just like, nope, not doing that.
Okay, what do I see around us, like food-wise?
I mean, there's like a cupboard that would, so not cupboard, there's cupboards of course, but there's like a pantry that would have like, things like taters and onions and, various other,
Taters? What's taters, brothers?
And various other details like that. He would have what is it? Because it'd be fun. It'd be fun. He has a smaller version of what he has out at his workshop that makes a small chamber inside there remain cold, and inside of it he actually has meats, almost like inside of a refrigerator. So it's one of those things where you open it up and like, a plume of steam or whatever comes out, right? Because you open the cool thing, you're like, what the hell's in here? And it's actually like cold meats. And like, oh, holy shit. Find some bacon or whatever inside there that, could be properly raw instead of cured, the way it usually would be for preservation, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But being a stove, you'd have to get like the wood fire going first. I don't know if you have the magic to like just get it going. Usually you want coals.
Well, I do have an alchemist fire.
There you go. That works. I mean, to get it going. So I imagine the first thing you do is go over and stack wood and just drop an alchemist fire in there and it starts burning or whatever. And then, you can go get the other stuff together. Is there a particular kind of meal you were making? It sounded like you were asking details for a reason.
Oh, yeah, because Viggo's never cooked before. So he's just going to get everything, whether it goes together or not. He's just going to put it all in this frying pan and just cook it.
Oh. Oh, dear, indeed. Okay, so if you've never cooked before, we should give you a circumstance bonus of like of a big penalty. So cooking is usually
you need the circumstance bonus because beginner's luck. Scott, come on.
Beginner's luck? Huh?
Right, what do you want me to roll?
Beginner's luck. It's his first time cooking, so he has beginner's luck.
Oh God, no. You haven't had enough roommates there, friend. So let's see. Let's make it a survival check. Is usually what you do, or technically it's usually a perform chef or craft cooking. So actually, why don't we make it a no? I meant profession. Let's make it a profession. Profession cooking. Cook whatever, and we'll give you a circumstance -10.
What's your profession? My profession is I am a cooking.
I are cooking.
I are cooking.
Okay, you can go right ahead and you can roll that. I have it set for you.
Oh no.
So he grabs a bunch of ingredients, throws them all into one pan. The bottom of the pan gets completely burnt. Like to the point where like even a heavy wooden spatula can't properly scrape it out. But then the top of the pan,
rations.
you have a bunch of the stuff inside. It would have been cooked fine. Who knows the flavor? But as he scraped the stuff out, like a bunch of the charring from the bottom mixed in. So if you bite into it, you're still getting the crunch and the burnt flavor. And then for some reason, part of it is still raw. Like despite how burnt it is at the bottom, there's still a bit of like that like translucent gelatinous like eggy bit in there, and you're like, how is it over easy when it's that burnt? Like,
have you seen the video of the person who burns the bottom of the pizza so bad they take a fucking grinder to it and grind the burn off the bottom?
No, that's pretty funny.
All right, well then I'm going to serve that up on a big plate in front of Tristan. There we go. He taps you on the shoulder. I never tried this before. Thanks for giving me that push.
Couldn't tell.
Galen, you're not looking the best yourself. Let's see if this works for you as well.
Well, why not?
Let's hope I roll good for you as well.
Rolls a 1. Oh, not bad.
Got 9.
Nice. I will take it. So he's almost like almost perfect. I put it this way: I would have been perfect before the reroll of health. That's how close it is. Oh, well. See what you mean about the taste, but that did seem to work. He like cracks his neck and like, oh, yeah, that's.
Tris will eat it.
See Viggo grinning at you, like he thinks he's done a good job.
Oh no.
You know that scene in Lord of the Rings where Aragorn has to eat the food that Eowyn's made? It's that.
Actually, I don't remember that scene at all.
I think
It's
that's
in
an
extended edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I have all 3 extended. I just don't remember that. Oh wait, no. Which was Eowyn again?
Bring the blonde.
The blonde lady.
lady
Yeah. Okay, I remember that scene now. I was like, wait, she's the one that was trying to like creep in on she was like trying to play third wheel or whatever. That's right. I remember her. Okay. Anyways, all right. Go ahead. I interrupted your description.
Description of what?
You being a blonde lady.
Oh no, he's the blonde lady. I'm Aragorn actually, which is interesting. Isn't it? That's a right role reversal for Jake.
Jake's into it.
Yeah.
Viggo's Eowyn, and I'm Viggo. That's it. I just eat it. He clearly doesn't enjoy it.
Wait, really? You just eat it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do me a favor and make me a fortitude save.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that would have been a great time for a 1.
It was heading that way for a second.
Down the hatch and doesn't bother you. You just.
I like the crunch from the shell. Okay.
Viggo smiles and says, "I'll cook it again sometime."
Oh.
Yeah, I got the
Too
hang
busy.
of this now.
Too busy, I think. maybe Galen next time. You're busy with your experiments.
He's right. Well, I guess we get down to business then of what are you going to do next?
Yeah.
I like the idea that
this morning.
I like the idea that the entire time Galen was just sitting there crunching through his rations, watching this.
Oh yeah, he's like trying, like the biggest grin, trying not to laugh.
Riddle's been in and out. He showed me an itemized list of missing books that he's fairly confident was stolen by. I can't remember, I wasn't really listening.
Regicide.
Somebody.
The
Prince Phyllis.
not Reina's group.
Ray Rena. Yeah.
Ray Rena, yeah. Reina's group. Yeah.
We also have some questioning to do today. She's due to wake up soonish.
The cultist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about her.
You see, she's still tied up in the, probably like moved like into some corner.
She's been watching this whole thing, just like.
No. She's not awake. She was hurt pretty hard. So yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Okay.
And it's not like he did the healing check to make her recover quicker. He was like, "I'm tired. You can fester in your wounds." So, anyways, continue.
Well, after that, we have to work on a game plan, but hopefully we can learn something new that will make things easier. I don't know
Well,
how the sarcophagus thing works.
I
Hopefully,
don't know, but
that's hard for him to replace, or at least quickly.
we did have that other one above ground.
Yeah.
Although Tristan is looking pretty good with all of his wife's possessions on. That ought to, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that'll get his
Don't
attention for
see
sure.
him, yeah.
Look, when we discuss this in future, I've done it because it will annoy him and because I've been told to.
Yeah,
Of course.
No,
And can we
it's
not
a
call
good
her
idea.
his wife? Maybe we could just call her another vampire.
So, well, wasn't one idea we could organize another group to go after any new sarcophagus he has, while we draw him out for the fight? Because he'll want. Well, he'll want our heads now, especially yours wearing all that.
I guess that's
But that means he'll come
Risen.
to us.
That is true. As for the group, though, that's for Risen to liaise with. I think that's what he said he was going to do.
I think so. This is a partial Scott thing.
This
I
is
think-
the
I
other
think
group
we
is
decided
regicide,
that.
and
Yeah.
we can't have a crossover, so we got to leave it in Risen's hands.
Yep.
I think this is what we decided we wanted to do. Yeah.
Can't believe that we have to trust some filthy. Well, you know what they did.
Yeah. I wish I could get some questions in, but I have a feeling.
Wouldn't
that
want to
I'm
get a
not fully
question in.
capable.
Just a lance.
Ah, oh, hmm.
No, I want to know what the prince was, if it was one of those things that tried to kill me.
Regardless, he was still a prince. Paradel
Yeah.
doesn't exclude others on virtue of race. Whatever he was a prince.
Good point. Either way, we have to accept that they might be at least for now, the only ones that can handle maybe going after the tomb while we draw him out. We at least we know they're capable.
You know what they say, the enemy of my enemy is not my friend, but I'll use them like they were.
Indeed.
I don't think that's what they say. Says Risen coming into the room.
They're doing Paradel, my friend. They're doing Paradel.
He's gonna gesture up towards like his room. Well, I mean, they're not exactly doing a good job of the friend thing for you.
Excuse me, one moment. I was woken from my rest with a bit of a jolt. A bit alarmed. I thought the house was going up in flames. What is that rancid smell?
Viggo was doing some potions. He turns and winks at Viggo.
Yes. I managed to stabilize some of my extracts so they can now be used by others.
Well, that's good news. But-
Byproduct is the smell. Small price to pay in that.
And, having making his way through the kitchen, he goes and takes a look into the pot and says, "And what is this?"
Oh, that was breakfast.
Looks around at the three of you.
And Gallon has the biggest shit-eating grins.
Would you like some?
Tris did eat it all, but I guess I could cook you some.
Nope. I'm just going to request that you clean up after yourself. He looks at the pan, then looks back and says, I have Brillo.
Viggo walk over and with that cloak he now has, he'll press the digitation out.
Yeah, that cleans up the loose residue. It doesn't get off the burnt shit.
Well, yeah, I'll get around to that, Risen.
Damn, it's anti-magic burn shit.
It's stuck on. Anyways, so yeah, they he just kind of like shakes his head and says, well, apparently they stole a few of my books. I don't know if they presumed myself dead, but they broke into my home, killed my butler, and stole some of my belongings. I'm not very happy. But considering that I've been offering my home to people that's decided to assault me, I guess par for the course.
You realize you're still technically an ex-terrorist.
He thinks for a few moments and says, I think that was long enough ago in game that we've all forgotten about that.
Like, you don't see me bringing up, oh, yeah, he was a Black Knight every minute, but, oh, you hit him once with a lance, on the blunt end, I might add, and you'd never live it down.
It's not like I ever brought any harm to you. As a matter of fact, I've only helped you.
Yes, you have been a great help, Risen. I won't deny that. However, I also did not deal any permanent harm to you.
That's fair. That's fair. He does look at the plate. Did you finish your meal?
Yes, please. Thank you. No more. I'm full.
No. He doesn't ask that. I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you finished it? He looks down at that, looks up at you, and says, would you like something to,
Yes,
shall we say
please.
cleanse? Okay. He'll go over and get you like I don't know, a bit of gum or something just to help.
A bit of gum. I was expecting to pull me out like a wee dram of whiskey or something.
Oh, okay. That's right. I was thinking alcohol, but I was like, I don't know if you'd want alcohol in the morning. Oh, absolutely. It's funny. I was actually
there's a fucking Wrigley spearmint on the floor in front of him. There you are.
double the flavor, double the fun. No, anyways, so it's funny. That's why I paused. I was like, oh, so we go get him a glass of wine or like a whiskey or something. And then I was like, no, gum makes sense. I are smart. Anyways, cool. So yeah, he'll bring over he'll pour you a glass and then he'll just bring over the bottle and put it next to it. And leave it for you. I suppose there's a few matters that we need to address. First and foremost, that woman.
Indeed.
Found literature about the vampire's sarcophagus. In some sort of
Protecting it.
cloud.
Nods. And you do nothing about her other than that?
She attacked us.
Okay.
Had a magical spear, was it?
Javelin, I think.
He nods and says, well, I have a bit of good news. Magic tends to work a little bit more easily upon those that are not conscious. And with that, I'm going to ask that you, if you could, while I get my components together, Tristan, which, by the way, you were looking significantly better today. Honestly, when I saw you yesterday, you seemed to be hanging on to life by a thread. You are...
Viggo rubbing his hands together with a smile.
Looks at Viggo, looks back. Could you please go and get me a bit of her blood-soaked garment?
Sure.
Nods and goes
He's
over
a
to...
caster, so you're aware.
I'm not too concerned about that. You seem to have her bound and gagged.
Yes. I don't know what you're planning to do, but I will say that she knew where Dreyfus's sarcophagus was. She was guarding it, so she may know where there possibly would be others.
Nods. Mm-hmm. But before we speak to her, we need to learn about her.
Okay.
All right.
He'll go over and he'll get together the ingredients or whatever that he needs to do it. Like a scrap of parchment and, you know, some other basic shit. Neil can go over and grab the a bit of blood-soaked garments or whatever that's there. I wanted to get, there it is. Blood-soaked garments, whatever that's there. You bring it over, and he's able to use those to cast a spell called Blood Biography. It's a will negate spell, but it's a will negate spell, so she is considered willing, because she's unconscious. But I believe,
don't like that.
yeah, but that's just for the sake of spells. Like if it says willing subjects only, that's how it works. But will negates doesn't mean that she doesn't get a will save. She still would. So long as it says because you can choose to because the difference, like harmless spells, that applies for if you're doing like a healing spell, but or like if you're teleporting somebody, but like regular will save spells, it doesn't, like charm spells, it doesn't apply to them. They still get a normal save.
Why you gotta lock your rooms in D&D? Make sure your sleeping places are safe.
I guess a spell. They're entitled to a saving throw to resist a spell.
Overnight against stuff like that.
Okay.
I have to spend a lot of points of my crown to do that, I believe.
All right. So my apologies. Yeah. So it says you are entitled to a saving throw to resist a spell. Okay. So, it's weird that it says you can cast a spell on living, dead, but living and undead creatures are entitled. So, yep, she gets to have a saving throw. I just wanted to confirm how it works. Because I couldn't remember. All right, here's her will save. Wait, no, that's not it. Here's her will save. Okay, she failed. All right. So with the bit of parchment that he had gotten prepared and the spell and everything that he did, he more or less takes her dried out blood, mixes it in with a liquid, and then will, you know, dip his finger into the liquid, so it comes out like a crimson, like even though the liquid is not quite that color. When he dips his finger in and pulls it out, it like attaches to it like sticks to his finger like a deep crimson red, as though he was like freshly bleeding or whatever. And he goes over to the bit of a parchment, and as he walks his finger flicks his finger to get drops of blood on the parchment, he asks specific questions. When he asks the question and he flicks his finger at it, where the blood lands, it expands out and spells out details about the subject. So he says, "Who are you?" Flicks it. What are you? Flicks it. How was your blood shed? Flicks it. And when was your blood shed? Flicks it. Actually, I mean, he wouldn't ask those last two questions because they don't really matter. He might ask the third one, but not the fourth one. Anyways, so he does that, goes over and inflicts it. And what you get from "Who are you?" And it's the name by which the creature is most commonly known. And even though I literally just typed it into Twitch chat, you probably heard me hit my keyboard. For some reason, that didn't want to go. So let me put it over on this side. I said Twitch chat. I meant Roll20 chat.
Yeah.
So
I guess
it's Elzira is her name. Going back over to the things. So her name is Elzira. She is a female, as we talked about beforehand, Perrin. Happens to be a priestess of Luthar. But again, those are all details you already know. And then how was your blood shed? Obviously, it would have been like the injuries or whatever that you guys had given to her. So thus far, you've only been able to acquire. So he like brings this information to you, which more or less, aside from the name, just confirms details you already knew. So no new information, but at least you have confirmation, which is nice. And he says, "Well then, priestess of Lavar, and a female Perrin, which we can already see. but her name is Elzira. Now, he looks at, what's his name? Viggo. Is there anything you could do with that name?
Let me check.
Oftentimes, if you have someone's name, you can work with it for a spell. I'm not sure if you know much by way of divination.
I don't think I do. I don't have anything.
That's unfortunate. Divination is not exactly my forte. I do have spells like this on hands, but it's not my specialty. I could get somebody else to cast something that might be helpful, but not in such short notice.
I'm able to help with the questioning, but apart from that, I don't believe I have anything that can assist us in the way you require.
Nods. What do you have? Nothing?
What for
Okay.
the
Line of questioning or whatever.
Yeah. Where is it? I think it's that. Focus scrutiny, is that? Yeah.
Well, what I can do is this. I'm sure you're going to get her up shortly. I need to go study in my library for a short while. As soon as I do that, I'm going to be able to assist you a little bit in with some magic. Beyond that, we really need to get into some details about how we're going to handle this. Things did not go well after you left.
Oh.
As you know, I threw up a wall of ice and I escaped, but we discussed for a little while through the ice. Had to shout to be able to hear each other, but nonetheless, he is not happy.
That we guessed.
I imagine lives are many. He is not happy. As he just shakes his head again. Right, as he says it again.
Were hoping we could at least use that anger, in that I believe we will be able to get him to come to us, and he'll look towards Triss and sort of like gesture to the stuff that Triss is wearing.
Yeah, I don't have too much detail about that, but I guess he had a wife, and we didn't really discuss this, but if that's the case and that's what you're wearing, imagine the implications.
Yeah, but it does mean that he will be angry, which one makes him dangerous, but two might make him slip up.
I'm not saying that the tactic isn't one that couldn't work. Obviously, it can. I just don't know if this is a tactic that you want to use. One moment, my niece is here to visit me. Hi, Lily.
I'm going to use this opportunity to be right back as well.
You want to wave?
Oh, look at the doggo tail. Look at the doggo tail.
There you go.
Oh, did oh okay. No one else has stayed here for the stream. Sorry, chat. This is awkward. Did he leave? Did he leave the stream up? Did he close it? Let me have a look. Oh yeah, he left it up. Professional streamer. Can you guys even hear me? That'd be hilarious if you can't. Oh, you guys can hear bad. Sorry, guys. I'm making coffee while this is happening, but I love that he left the stream up, not on like a be right back or anything. He just left it up. So, chat, how you been? We're gonna die. Look, no way. I think our best bet is to try and lure him out soon and during the day with traps. We need to set up some kind of ambush.
Sorry about that. Rory's heading off to camp. She it was funny yesterday. She didn't go because she had a dentist appointment, so she stayed with us for half a day and then with my mom for half a day. And then she got to see like more or less what it's like for mommy and daddy working all day, like from home. So she's like, "Yay, I get to be home with mommy and daddy." And then she's like, "I'm bored." Like she's like, "Daddy," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm working. You got to bye." And Brittany's like,
So-
"Aurora, I'm hopping on a call. You have to leave, sweetie."
So, Scott, what kind of options are there in terms of because this is where my knowledge of Pathfinder lacks. What kind of actions, options, and stuff there are for me to limit Dreyfus's ability to move?
Lots of. Do you mean like magically or?
My ability. It would like because the biggest thing that we can do in this fight will be to allow Triss to charge. And to do that, I need to slow Dreyfus's movement in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, grapple, but like he can always discorporeate.
To grapple. That too. That is still good though because he'll move slower like that, doesn't he?
He does, but he also can't get hit that way. So what's your CMB? We're waiting for Jake to return.
So my CMB is 9, but I wonder if I can make that better because I know I can get extra
Jake can help you make it better. You have abilities like that can make it better. I will tell you with a +9, technically you can succeed and not just by rolling a 20.
Astral armor increases my strength. Let me put brawn on. So that brings me up to 18 strength with a CMB of 11. Then I can take where is it? Not lesser. I need so that's 1 point. I'm just checking how many points it takes to do extra arms. I know extra arms helps. So 3 points for extra arms gives me.
You need the improved grapple feat, is what you need.
4 points. 4 points gives me for each extra arm. Ooh. Wait, extra. So for 4 points, I can get a +4 onto CMD on against grapple checks. Wait, why is that not with as well? It just says CMD against grapple checks.
Well, CMD is defense, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's so let me see if there's something I can do for improving. So that's 4 points for defense, but that's not powerful build. Where subjects.
That's a +1.
So, yeah, +1. That'll give me +1 for. So that's +12 total, and that's 2 points. That's not too bad.
Can you get improved grapple? That works.
I don't think I can. Let me see extra arms greater, because that might be. No, extra arms greater are still just defense. Let me see. No, it looks like.
You having a beer? Or is that a soda pop?
I'm having a beer.
Is it really a beer?
Light beer.
Enough.
Yeah.
What kind of beer is it?
Nothing nice. Just something I had in the fridge.
Oh, no, that's not nice at all. I was thinking like maybe it was some brewer I'd never heard of. Oof. Go ahead.
I've got one nice beer in the fridge, but it's.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
The thing is that this is ice cold and only 4%. So.
Yeah, I gotcha. It's shitty, weak beer, but it gets the job done when you're in the mood. I hear you. By the way, if I'm drinking shit beer, Coors Light is my go-to. Like if you're talking about like Bud, Coors, Miller,
it's like
Natty.
slightly sweet, rusty water.
Yeah, it almost has like this natural sweetness from like the rice mill or whatever it is they use to make it. Rice millet or whatever they use to make it. So it's gross, but it's the best of them.
So I could get a CMB of 12.
That's better than a 9.
It is better than a 9.
You absolutely could succeed. Consistently would be a question mark, but you absolutely could succeed.
How does good old spiked carapace? No, armored spikes. I think that just means I do attacks at the same time as grappling. I don't think that does anything else. Spiked armor on table, well, on the weapons table.
Bratwurst wants attention. Mike's in the way.
So I mean, this just means I can also do a little bit of damage, but I probably won't do that damage anyway, because of his resistances. So I don't think that's worth looking into. So I think that's the best CMB I can get. I'm looking at ways that I can try and.
Well, that's not entirely true. That's the best CMB you can.
To charge him.
That's the best CMB you can get alone. But like,
that's true.
But like, Jake can increase your strength. Jake can do this. Jake can do that. Jake can do the other thing too. You know what I mean? Like,
let me check.
He can make you a big boy. He can make you large, and then powerful build makes it say like your huge size. So it's an additional +1.
13. I can get to 13. Can I actually get further than that? Actually,
like Jake can make you better. Hey,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's probably about as far as I can get. So I can get to 13 on my own.
Okay, then Jake could probably get you to a 16. Right? Like Jake could probably get you to a 16.
Okay.
Full strength and enlarge.
Well, I don't know if Bull's strength would stack with whatever he does with his armor to increase his strength. Did you do anything with your armor to increase your strength or no?
Strength, I don't think will.
It's an enhancement bonus.
I don't think it will stack. I'm pretty sure it's an enhancement bonus.
What does your give you? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I think mine's an enhancement bonus as well, unfortunately.
But if it's only a 2, Jake can make it so you have the 4 instead. It overwrites it.
No, I'm currently giving myself 2 lots of brawn, which is +2 each of enhancement bonus to strength.
So that's +4?
Yeah.
Okay, but now here's a big question. Could you use those in a better way and just
Ooh.
drink the potion
Oh,
instead?
hang on. Yeah. Wait, if I switch to astral skin instead of astral armor and use a potion, let me shuffle things around.
So a potion is going to give you +4 enhancement, which will bring up your thing by 2, not 4.
Yeah, he knows.
Okay,
Yeah. So my strength goes up by 2. Yes, that's. No, my strength goes up by 4, which the modifier goes up by 2, right?
Yes.
Let me.
Sorry, I had to, did I hear that right? Yeah. Why you look so sad? Why you look so sad? Huh? Why you look so sad? Mwah. Hi, puppy.
Because she's lost her pet cat.
No. She sees her outside. Like, she'll go over and take a pee right next to her Brett sitting there and, lounging in the sun.
And is she outside right now?
The cat?
No. Brat.
Brat's outside, yeah. But now she has a puppy, and everybody knows dogs are better. She
She's a cat dog.
But she plays with Marshmallow. She just sniffed the cat.
Sometimes you just want to sniff and don't want to get played with.
Joe Biden?
What?
Right.
Why is that change?
Viking, I don't think mirrors or garlic actually do anything to vampires per 5e and Pathfinder lore.
Garlic does by Pathfinder lore if you're going raw.
What do it do?
They go, I don't like it, and they won't enter a square with it.
Yeah, but they don't have to enter a square to hit me.
But they have to enter a square to bite you.
I see. Someone cover me in garlic.
So why did that change? Wait, hang on. So
Well, luckily for you, Jake actually emptied the entire jar of minced garlic into the breakfast. So that's just going to be eating out your pores all day. People are like, whoa, what's that smell? Like, fighting vampires. Like, okay, buddy, take a fucking shower.
No, because you just proceed to sweat it out for the next 12 hours. So it doesn't matter. You take a shower and you come out and you're like, I smell like clean garlic. Freshly washed.
Is that actually a 12-hour thing? Is that actually like a thing, or? Because I know
you sweat it out over a significant period if you have enough.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours, and it probably differs from person to person.
I'm refreshing the page. It's unhappy with
You're good.
Editing so many things.
We're not rushing you. That's why we're having a side conversation. You're good, man. So as I was saying, I said that Brittany's parents complain about a lot. They hate the smell of onions and garlic. They hate them, and we cook with onions daily. Like almost every day, there's an onion in our food.
Mean, if you cook, onions and garlic usually form the base of whatever you're cooking. The first thing you put in the pan is onion. And garlic.
Yeah. Right. Like, and I'm glad you said it that way, because I don't mean like seasonings or seasoning salts. I mean like actual onion and actual garlic. Right. So, well, granted, garlic, I often cheat with minced garlic just because if you don't use the cloves fast enough, they don't last super long. So, either way, yeah, but they'd be like, did you have garlic? Like, we could see them in the evening, and you could have showered afterwards, and you could have had garlic in the morning, and they'd be like, you had garlic today, didn't you? Because like they could smell the garlic on you like 12 hours later because they're so sensitive to it. And I'm just like, I can't imagine living a life without garlic. So
No, neither can I. I love garlic.
right?
So
Like
the CMB only uses strength. Is that correct?
CMD is strength and dex. CMB is strength unless you have a feat called agile maneuvers, in which case it switches to dex.
Okay, I understand now.
Yep.
It was doing some funky stuff where it was starting to count dex as well, which is why I was getting higher numbers. I could get to 12. I mean, the potion will allow me to keep all my dexterous stuff at the same time as doing it, but it doesn't change the number I can get to.
Gotcha.
So it would just allow me to hit him better with other attacks. But if I'm trying to grapple, then I think probably going the other way is probably still better.
Okay, now I hate to be the one to point this out, but obviously you were looking very much at your sheet and probably not at chat. But more or less, in chat you have two people waving red flags at your face and screaming at you. So
what did I miss in chat? Sorry.
Oh, it's a bit up because Neil started talking. Norway and Viggo are like, yeah, maybe don't get that close to the bitey bite.
Yeah, yeah. The issue is our biggest damage is getting Triss to charge. And if I can do anything to stop him from moving and allow Triss to get that charge in, it might be worth it. That's why I was thinking of it. Grappling it makes your target to get bitten. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think, unfortunately, I don't think I can get high enough for it to be worth it. If I could get a little higher, I assume size bonus is just 1.
The problem is now that what's his face is probably too cowardly to face us in the open.
I think he's more likely to face us in the open now because he's angry.
Nah, we made it pretty clear that
What if we get Pan to spread rumors about Triss prancing around in his wife's jewelry, get him that angry he just...
That's actually a pretty solid option. Utilizing Pan to your benefit is a pretty... Because literally rumor mongering is her ability, right?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think we need to pick a location and
location.
ambush him well. Like location is, as Scott said, location. I think it is literally going to be the most important thing.
A central plateau with a fountain.
We need some. He won't exit the fog. We know that much. But if we get close enough to the edge of the fog.
Yeah, no, we can find the fog. Just a clearing in the town, in the city, with a fountain.
You just stand in the fountain. Come at me.
Well, Viggo can stand in the fountain. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's actually not a bad
idea. No, Vigo's under the water with a snorkel. Yeah, exactly. Freaking
so
hiding.
Can growl he can like pop up and growl at him occasionally.
Yeah, grrr, I'm participating.
Going for the grapple is not the best idea, just because I can't get high enough for it to be worth it. If I could get a little higher, where I could guarantee that I would do it without risking utter death.
I think we're jumping the gun. We need to interrogate this woman, see what she tells us, and then make a decision from there.
Yes, I think you're right. I started on this conversation when you guys were away.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool. Sorry, while you guys are chatting, I'm just getting a little bit of legwork done for work. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just slip this in here so nobody notices. And I'll be good to go. Let me check one last thing super fast, and my focus is back on you. I'll just take it forever to load. There it is. All right, cool. We're good. All right. Hi. So, back to you. So, he comes over. So he takes his hour to finish preparing his magic or whatever he has to do. During that time, is there anything in particular that you guys want to do? Like Jake, any spells that you want to get, like potions you want to make? Neil or Tesh, I think Tesh has to do his meditation for an hour to get his power points back. Neil, anything you want to do?
I assume that would have been part of the sleep, wouldn't it?
Usually it's
not,
8
then
hours
I'll
of
do that.
sleep and then your 1 hour of meditation. Yeah. What's
Well,
up?
This is long rest, so
That's 5e. Yeah. Unless I'm confusing with so like
Might just
with
say daily,
I
unless
say
there's, like-
specifically vampire, sorry, specifically wizards, and sorcerers and clerics and druids. After an 8 hours of rest, they then have to spend an hour to prepare their spells. That might not apply for what are you called?
Aegis,
psionics.
I'm looking now.
Psionics. And funny enough, actually, that's not even entirely true what I just said. Druids don't have to sleep. They just have to only reset their cycles at a certain time of day, whether it be sunrise, sunset,
just
whatever
says
it is.
daily.
Yeah. And clerics also don't need rest. They can reset daily.
Maybe it will say in psionic classes. It doesn't say in Aegis. It just says daily.
It'd be under the basic psionic shit. We can look it up later on. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But either way, so an hour he goes to prepare his spells. Jake, is there anything you're doing? Neil, is there anything you're doing?
I can sharpen all my weapons.
Cool.
That's it.
Does that take an hour?
No. I can check.
Hmm.
See what it says. Let's have a look.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
going to prepare 3 extra.
15
rounds,
minutes.
Which takes me 3
3 minutes. Yep. And Neil, what did you just say? Sorry, sir.
15 minutes.
Each.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So then, because you have spare time, Jake, why don't you go ahead and roll me a heal check real quick?
Specifically heal, or can I roll nature?
You can do whatever your normal ability is. So that's a sexy roll. It's almost like a waste of a 20 because you get a plus 20 anyways. And just to finish something real quick, Norway, I used to in 3.5. I hated that sorcerers were more or less just wizards with more spell slots and less spells. It was boring to me. So in the book called Unearthed Arcana, from 3.0, yeah, I think Unearthed Arcana was 3.0.
You mean 5e Unearthed Arcana?
No, I mean first edition Unearthed Arcana. No. So 3.0, there was an alternative spellcasting system that allowed you to use mana, and mana would recharge per XYZ. And so we actually used that system for sorcerers to make them feel different. But it then got lame when we started using psionics, because that was effectively the same system. Back to the game, though. You can actually see that she's starting to stir. You know, everybody's taking their hour or whatever to prepare themselves. But unless you're actively trying to keep her asleep, she might wake up before that hour passes for Risen to get his thing done. So unless you go over there and give her like a dunk in the back of the head or some shit, apply 1 point of non-lethal damage in some way, she's likely going to wake up very soon.
I see. Well, you know what I do? I give it 1 point of damage.
Yeah, how do you do that?
I'll only take half an hour with what I'm doing because I only have 2 weapons to sharpen, so I can literally just watch it.
Sure. Well, I mean, he would notice it first, right? Because he only did 3 minutes of stuff. But so, anyways, what's your strength, Jake?
12.
So +1. So if you punch her, it automatically does 1 + 1 is 2 points of damage.
All right. She's just gonna wake up.
No, you go over there, you give her a good old fashioned donkey punch, like a gentleman.
Down you go.
And then because she's unconscious on the ground, it's an automatic critical hit. So she takes 4 points of damage.
Stop.
She dies. It was a coup de grace. So, whoops. Sorry about that. No, so do you go over and you just kind of give her like a good old tapsy?
Stalwart,
No.
I think, would be worth taking, right? It's the one that makes it so if I have to do a fortitude or will save for a partial effect, if I succeed, I get no effect.
Mm-hmm.
That would be worth it, right? I can't remember if he did. It did many.
That's worth having in general. Metal is, or whatever you call it, is worth having it in general.
Stalwart, yeah.
So you do the one point of damage, sir?
I can't.
So what do you do? Do you cast sleep? Like, what do you do?
I can't cast sleep. You know what I can do?
Make her breakfast? Knocks her out?
No, I can't.
No. Poisons
I'm in
her.
a very difficult position here. All right, she's gonna wake up.
Okay. We will do that.
Bound and gagged.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Tied to a
I like
chair
how
at
you
this
look
point.
shocked. You have traumatized us with prisoners. Like, we are like this because of you.
No, in my opinion, anytime you deal with a spellcaster, you bind and gag them.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay,
that's
good.
that's just that's how you deal with spellcasters. If you don't, you're screwed. That's just how it works. So
Viking, we specifically said we took off her shoes. We also removed any magical items she had. We used detect magic to find every magical item. And
yeah,
removed it.
it's weird that every time you guys defeat an enemy, you like to showcase your foot fetish. I mean, I'm not against it. Like, you do you, but like I just don't know if that's what you want to be known for on
Listen,
We
Twitch.
learned from you.
No, it's not. It's not even that. It's the fact that you take their shoes, but then they grow new shoes somehow.
Yeah.
And then click their heels together, even though you already specified you took their shoes.
Yeah,
Then they still have shoes.
You take their
But
shoes
they have-
and they're like, I had my bones enchanted, and then tap their bare heels together.
You can't enchant that. Yeah, anyways, moving on. So
tattoo
yep.
potion to tattoo
Yep.
or whatever it is.
Yep.
Tattoo potion, yeah.
Yep. You can get the tattoos, the magic tattoos. Yep. All right, moving on. So she wakes up. We'll say that you're almost done sharpening your weapons there, Neil. So whatever your last weapon to sharpen is, feel free if you hear conversations to interrupt your sharpening of it to come in here. Jake, so she wakes up and she's kind of like, hold on, let me get in character for you.
Just so you know, I did more or less put her on a chair. So she's sitting when she comes to.
There we go. I'll just use audio cables. That works.
Oh, and I have used the focus scrutiny extract.
Okay. There we go.
I am uncomfortable. This is not how I wanted today to go.
Your background needs to be changed to Daddy's Dungeon. I think that's something.
I got higher. I just got her. Oh, wait, I don't have it anymore. It's gone now.
Oh my god, you Australians. You only want one thing. Look, Vikings in chat like, where's the Daddy Dungeon background?
Oh, this is sad. Oh, it's over it. Wade's place works. Equally Daddy's Dungeon. I'm at Wade's house. Hey, Daddy. Oh.
I'm not saying anything until this bit ends. Oh my god,
Stop.
not noise like she can write answers with a phone. No, we broke all her toes in case she could spellcast with her feet.
What the fuck?
Oh no.
Damn, Scott.
I'm role playing. She can't say anything. She's got a gag in her mouth.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we can.
So Jake just sits there and watches.
No, what happens is you see Viggo will have handed also Tristan one of those focus scrutinies, and he said, before you come over, take this. But he goes over and he, like you can see now that she's come to, he's being very sympathetic. Like she's got scrapes and stuff, and he kind of like tries to treat her wounds superficially, of course. And yeah, so that's what is happening at the moment.
So not the internal bleeding, just the superficial wounds. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
But
So
she doesn't know what, she never seen me. She's seen me as a wolf. She never
correct.
seen me.
That's
Yes.
true.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yes.
Yes,
So
yes,
I'm
yes.
playing good guy.
Okay. So do you say anything to her?
As she's coming to, I guess he goes, "Oh, thank goodness, you're alive." A bit touch and go there, but give me a minute. I just need to treat you. And he that's when he starts, doing it.
And again, she would do the ha. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh.
Bea looks around and he goes, "I can't. Trying.
She got a holy symbol on her.
Huh?
No, we took it from her.
Good.
Oh.
Deliberately. Also, because Galen thought it was expensive, even though it's probably not. But he rolled low.
Ha, ha, ha.
Puts across his arms. You still under the control of that vampire?
1 second. Just looking at skills.
Let me check my to meditate.
Neil, look at the spell because that's what you have access to.
She thinks for a moment, and then she shakes her head.
Okay. If I take this gag out, you have to promise to not do anything to try to escape or hurt us.
Viggo turns to look at you. It just gives you that look of don't take the gag until Risen gets here.
What an image. Must it with Risen's library. Yeah.
I can't find anywhere where it says how I get my points back every day. It just.
I can look it up later on, Tesh.
Every day. Okay.
So do you do anything else while you're waiting?
No, unless Triss does actually take it out. Then
No, I've been told not to.
Yeah, by his commander. So, all right, cool. So she doesn't do that.
Sense motive over her of trying to get her overall, demeanor.
I mean, she's in a lot of pain, right? Like she's at 1 health point. Well, technically 0 health points in Awake. 0, 1 health point, whatever it is. So, sense motive. Go ahead.
This might be something Morty.
Yeah. Oh, you can still roll. What did the judge say to the dentist? Do you swear to pull the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth? Okay.
Jesus.
How about this one? How do you know when an engineer is an extrovert? He looks at the other person's feet when he's talking.
Wow.
Yeah. That one hit hard at work. I work at engineers, so.
I did half a year of engineering in uni. So yeah.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Yes. You get it. It's so funny too because Tesh is such a big outgoing personality online. I bet in person. Yeah, I bet in person. So I hope one day we're able to hang out because it'd be nice to. It's like just so you know, I am the same way in person as I am. I am obnoxious. So I'm just taller than you think.
Sure.
Anyways, you can tell that she's obviously in a lot of pain. She's agitated. She's concerned. There's obvious fear. You know what I mean? Like she's a person. It doesn't matter if you're a villain. You still have fear, right? So on and so forth. There's nothing underlying there. She's after she was able to gather her bearings, like the tail end here, before the two of them come downstairs for whatever they were doing up there. You can see that she's starting to calculate. Like you're able to get that kind of reading. Like she's starting to take in her surroundings with more detail. Like really just trying to okay, so what is around me, so on and so forth. The whole almost like a Jason Bourne, Jack Ryder, or whatever his name is, that whole like, okay, what do I have around me that I can use? Though this person is no, Jet Li, right? So she's beat to shit and not exactly the most athletic. Actually, she's not lacking it either, but actually she is pretty athletic. Never mind. I take that back. All right, moving on.
She threw a javelin at me and it hurt.
yeah. I forgot about that. All right, moving on. So eventually you have Tesh will come out of his room around the same time that Risen had already opened his door. And so when Tesh comes out of the room, you can kind of like look down the hallway and you'd see Risen's door is open and he's kind of like grabbing up a couple of supplies. So like as you like step out of your room and you look over his way, he'll look up and just give you like a smile and a nod. I don't know if he would say anything.
I would just nod back.
Yep. And then
here we go. I'll also probably suit up before I enter the room, just in case, because we're setting up. I don't know if she's awake, but I'm also getting ready to.
Of course, yeah.
Intimidation.
I almost imagine as you're walking down the stairs, it's like one of those. If you can imagine it, from a camera angle, the camera angle shows like the profile of the stairwell, and like literally as you're walking down the stairs, you can see the body starting to cover up in crystal as it goes, but at a faster rate than you're walking down. So the head is never showed outside of crystal, but you see the rest of the body forming over it, right?
Like that,
yeah. So anyways, but Risen is he just says, I'll be down in a moment. And so you go downstairs, and as you're walking into the room to kind of assess the situation, you hear a little bit of like murmured talking or whatever inside there, and then you realize it's not them necessarily talking to each other, it's them having words with her. Viggo, with his bluff check, being very nurturing.
Oh dear.
7-8 isn't bad. All right.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
You want to go ahead and modify that in any way?
I don't know how many luck we have.
I have to re-roll my sense motive. I don't get to just keep that 21. That 21 is for something else.
She got plus 8. Do it. Find out.
We got 3 left. That's nice though.
Okay.
It's not many.
Yeah, if I make you guys re-roll things a million times, it has to apply to me as well, right?
You did it! Can you Daddy's Dice get a 4? No, because it still goes to the PCs.
Bro, I probably won't. I probably don't even have Daddy's Dice. Nobody loves me. So, So you
should have let him try.
No.
You should have let him try.
No, because I know about the tiebreaker part. So yeah.
He's the one who told me that probably.
I know, but like sometimes he forgets.
It's a house rule, right? Like the tie always goes. Yeah.
He can build.
Anyways, so because technically speaking, what would happen is you set the DC and I beat it if we got a tie. But I just say ties go to the PCs. So all right, moving on. What was I saying? Oh, so you come walking in, Tesh, and you're able to see they're having a conversation with her. It's not like they're talking nonstop, but definitely it's Viggo having soothing words to her.
Yeah, no, I would just I probably wouldn't say anything more, just assess the situation.
She looks over at you, clearly is assessing or judging you as you're walking in. You can see a keenness to her, obviously, but she still has audio cables in her mouth. You can't hear what she's saying.
As a note, now the crystal armor that's formed is got on the right pole. Oh, I guess different. I don't know which way it's showing for you guys. On the right shoulder, if this is the left shoulder, then the other shoulder. On the right shoulder, it's got a sort of crystalline build-up that's got you can sort of see something looking around inside, and the light that's normally on his chest is over in the shoulder now.
Weird.
And it's Virgil's got a new mount to look around and get ready to fire from.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he can fire now.
He's a shoulder turret, like Tony Stark.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or like Mech Warriors or some shit. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's funny. It's almost like a little saddle You get a little saddle there.
It's almost like that, yeah.
Dude, you have to get a second one. So you can have like a kind one and a mean one.
That would be really cool, actually.
One's like, kill it, kill it, kill it.
I wonder if it would get a turn as well.
Maybe. There are ways to have second familiars. I don't know if there's a way to have a second Psi Crystal. So
I think that's worth looking into, especially since they can do touch attack.
Yeah.
That's worth.
No, but now in my head I have Beavis and Butthead. So you have like, kill it, kill it, let it live.
We've got the heroic one, and I wouldn't choose the same stats, obviously. So the other one wouldn't be heroic. So we've already got the nice one.
It's funny. All right, cool. So you haven't met the mean one yet. All right, moving on. So do you say or do anything when you come in, or do you just walk in and silently stay off to the side?
Probably nod to Triss and then just sort of stand off to the side.
Okay. Cool. So then, stepping forward, like a minute or so later, what's his name comes downstairs. Risen comes downstairs and says, "Okay, are we ready to?" She's awake. Looks around at the group of you like he's surprised that she's awake, and nobody said or did anything.
We were waiting for you.
What was that?
Which one? We'll just say it again at the exact same time.
Sorry, I heard you, but Jake.
We were waiting for you.
Didn't want to bother you.
Didn't want to bother you. Yeah, that's it.
Nods and says, "Thanks. Well, I wanted to make sure that things went as well as possible. So, if you'll excuse me for a moment." Looks at her and says, looks at Viggo and says, "Have you healed her at all yet?"
You did make a heal check, 40, right?
That was to see she was waking up. Yeah.
He also deliberately chose to only sort of treat superficial stuff, so he hasn't like healed her yet.
Good, Viggo?
I haven't got around to fully healing her, but I managed to treat the cuts and scrapes on her person.
He nods and says, "My suggestion, so things can go well without," and he looks at her with a kind of a sinister smile, her needlessly having to die. Looks back at you. Whatever you've got, the strongest thing, let her have it.
Oh shit.
She's gonna need it. You can totally just do moderate. You don't have to do serious.
I don't have serious.
You have serious?
I don't.
Oh, okay. So moderate it is. You can go ahead and bloop it. Bloop.
Right.
Watch it roll low and she fucking dies.
Oh, let's see.
That'd be our luck.
Good.
Not too bad.
I mean, she has 17 health. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After you you remove the cables to give her the thing, she's just like, "Wait, what is going on here? Why are you?" And like, do you say like drink this, or like do you hold the nose? Like, what do you do?
Viggo kind of like brings it up to her and he says, "Healing will help you."
She looks and says, "I'd be a fool to deny healing, but it sounds like it's just for torture."
I hope not. As he starts to tip it back.
She will, of course, drink it because, again, you'd be a fool. Even if you're going to try to escape in some way, you need the health, right? So she drinks it, and then she's like, you've poisoned me! You've poisoned... Yes, it tastes horrible. Anyways.
It doesn't taste the best, but it does the job.
So it does heal her the 16, get her to 17 health points. And then Risen just kind of says, all right. I have to pull up his modifier. Yes, open the external link, please. From my notes. His modifier is 1d20 plus. His BAB is... Where are you? Where are you, BAB? His BAB is 3. His small size, so that makes it a 4. And his dex based. Okay, cool. So, and she is pinned. So she is, because she's bound to the chair, right? So she's helpless because she's pinned.
Yeah.
So that means he automatically hits her and has a chance of critting. /R 1d20 plus 5. A 15 would crit. That's going to be 2d4. /R 2d4. Oh, snake eyes. It's a shitty crit. So he hits her with the spell Enervation and gives her 2 temporary negative levels. So sadly, 2 is not enough to really do anything. In theory, that could have killed her if he did enough.
Yeah, that's why I was worried that he was going to kill her.
But so 2 negative levels is important because it drops her health points by 10. So she drops back down to 7, right? I didn't expect the crit, honestly, but it drops her health points by 10. So she goes that, but she also has a -2 to all of her saving throws and whatnot. So immediately afterwards, the next thing he's going to do. Go ahead.
I like Scott's like, I didn't expect the crit. Meanwhile, more than 50% chance to crit.
Not necessarily, but yeah. I just roll like trash all the time, like that result right there. So he is then going to cast Bestow Curse on her, which is the same level spell, I believe. Yep. Bestow Curse. My intention, now I'm going to bring this to you guys from meta chat. My intention was to cast Bestow Curse specifically to give her a -6 to her wisdom score. However, I could instead give a -to a different score if you want, or a -4 to all attack saves, ability checks, and skill checks.
I mean,
you guys aren't really
Wiz
spellcasting
is
people.
probably- Yeah, but Wiz is pretty good for like what he's planning to do, I assume.
Well, wisdom's good because it makes it so makes less wise decisions, lower sense motive. Like it just makes her less wise of a
Yeah,
person.
no, that is-
Yeah.
And
that's
being
good.
being a cleric, if your wisdom score is not high enough, you can't even cast all your spells.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
think
a
that-
really good one for her.
I think it is good for multiple reasons. Also, just for if he wants to do anything more, will saves are likely to be the most common thing that he's going to do.
I mean, that makes sense to me. So I just don't know what spells Jake intends to use. So, but
I
he
don't
doesn't.
have any.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any spells for this kind of stuff either, right? Like he doesn't have I interrogate you spells. That's not his shtick. So, but lower wisdom score helps you overall. All right, cool. So now he's going to cast Bestow Curse on her. This is a will negates. She has a -2 now. She'd previously rolled with a, I think a +4. So now she only has a +2 on the roll. So, where's my modifier? So whenever I roll here, it's 2 less than. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So she only rolls a 12. She fails Bestow Curse. That means her wisdom score just dropped by 6. She just went from a 14 to an 8. She can no longer cast any cleric spells, even if she has any left, right? So she has a lower thing. Do you guys have any other spells that can hurt or lower attributes, like Touch of Idiocy or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Then the last thing, Fluffernutter is going to cast on her is going to be the first level one. What the hell is it called? Ray of Enfeeblement. Oh, shit. There we go. Ray of Enfeeblement, which is going to do this. Oh, natty 1! Remember how I said I'd be surprised if he crits? He legit misses. Well, you automatically hit because she's helpless, right? But natty 1, because we don't go crit fumbles in this game. Haha. So he actually does hit her, but he doesn't crit. So because of his level, he does 1d6 plus 4. 1d6 plus 4. Of course, minimum. 5 points of temporary strength damage, so her strength just dropped temporarily from a 12 down to a 7. Okay?
I would have put that you've rolled 4 ones in a row on a variety of dice.
Yep. Yep. Are you happy now, Wano? Anyways, I just want to confirm, make sure there's no other spells that he would use against her. Let's see. Bestow Curse and Enervation are really powerful. He just used those. He already used the blood one on her, so you have her name. I'm surprised you haven't used that against her so far to be creepy. None of these other ones are spells. Oh, and then the last thing he can do is cause fear. And so that's the last thing touch of fatigue. Is touch of fatigue... I just got to make sure I have this one correct. What's touch of fatigue do? Touch of... Is it the one that actually gives you the fatigue? And for how long does it last? For 1 round per level. So once again, makes her feel helpless. Fortitude negates. So he's going to hit her with touch of fatigue and then finally cause fear. Actually, cause fear won't work on her. She's too high level. Let me just confirm. Cause fear. He's more or less mind fucking her. Just to like ruin her. Yeah, creatures that are 60 are immune to this effect. Yeah, so that won't work. So just touch of fatigue now. Which as a touch attack would still be a +5. And she gets a fortitude save.
Doubt about the fact that this man might be a bad man?
No, he's a great guy. What are you talking about?
He's basically mind fucking.
Well, you have to do that. You're about to interrogate. So she's a -2 to this. 17 -2 is a 15. That might be enough to resist it. Give me 1 second. I'll confirm. Touch of fatigue. You gain the fatigue quality for rounds X, Y, or Z. Let's see. His. Let me just confirming. Sorry. Go up. Actually, I think she resists the fatigue.
Wow.
Yeah, 15 is pretty high. And his intelligence is, yeah. So 15's high enough that she's able to resist it.
He's got that +4 to intelligence.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
But your base DC is 10. Mm-hmm. So cantrips are DC 5 are DC
it's a cantrip, is it?
Yeah, so it's a touch of fatigue is. So it's 14, and for necromancy spells it's a +1, which is a 15, because he has an 18 intelligence with the magic item. Because most people don't have like 20 something.
The magic item.
Yeah. He's an NPC. Yeah, so they don't have like insane stats, right? So he has a 14, and then with the it being because he has a focus on necromancy, it makes it a 15. So it doesn't work. All right, cool. And he has a +2 intelligence, not a +4. Magic item. All right, cool. So that gets us to touch of fatigue doesn't work. Cause fear I can't even cast. He enervated her and bestowed curse her. And she's at 7 health points. It's to you guys now. So after he like zaps her and then curses her, he then attempts to drain her some more, but she resists it. And then he turns and says, this is when he actually turns to Viggo, who's been playing nice cop this entire time, and says, because he's not aware of whatever shtick you're doing, he wasn't here for it. He says, all yours? And then takes steps back.
I'm just going to be sitting like sense motivating anything, like any information she gives and stuff. That's my goal for this.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was just looking at something. I actually have something that would help, but I'm definitely not going to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
And Norway's over there saying this is not right. And while, oh yeah, that's right. And he did do the one that reduces your strength too. While it's not good to set up this baseline, I do want to state that he hasn't harmed her at all. The negative levels he gave her are temporary; they go away, and the everything else is all spell effects. So while this certainly isn't a good thing, it more or less all he did was he did the in-game equivalent of being a United States police officer. You know what I mean? Right? He's walking in, like, forgetting your rights.
And I think if she feels weaker, she'll make dumber decisions.
Yep.
Those are the big ones. And she's lower level, which means if she does escape, she's not going to be able to fight back as effectively.
Nope.
She's good.
Yeah. She's effectively useless right now. Go ahead.
So Viggo will say, what was her name again?
It's posted right inside there. As where the hell are you? It's L0.
L0.
Priestess of Luthor.
Yeah, Viggo says L0. That's your name, right?
She nods.
L0, how did you...
Did you take the gag back out? Or are you going to take it out after you ask the question?
After I ask the question.
Okay, go ahead.
L0, that's your name, right?
She nods.
How did you come to be mixed up in all of this?
She thinks for a moment, and she says, it's like you said. I was manipulated by him. Give me 1 second. She's not a bluffer. She doesn't. She usually has a +2. Huh. Nobody believes it at all. Just many levels of go fuck yourself, starting with double.
This will go easier if you tell me.
Yeah, when she does say that, we all kind of pick up on it, and Galen speaks. You see Viggo look to Triss, almost. He's giving him that look of bad cop.
Listen, you know about the Arcane Congress, right?
She looks over at what's his face and then back to you. Yeah.
He's gone easy on you. On the orders of your friend here. You don't want to see what Arcane Congress not going easy on someone is, right?
Her facade drops and she says, I serve him.
Why?
In what
You're
capacity?
a priestess of Luthor.
She says, that I am. Observant.
Why do you serve
him? Why do you serve? She looks at your uniform, then back to you. Your masters.
Giving it open for Triss.
They don't routinely drink blood.
But you do eat, don't you?
Not my own race.
Neither does he.
Trying to tell me he wasn't human once.
She just gives like a little bit of a smile and says, you're so out of your depths, so lost at sea. There's a storm brewing, and your rickety little boat is not going to be able to survive it.
All right. Well, tell us about the storm, but less mysterious, or you'll find yourself lost at sea, okay?
I was once before, but I found myself a harbor. I found myself my home. You've pissed off the wrong person.
I've nearly killed him.
She nods.
You think we won't do it next time?
She nods and says, I'm not saying he's a god. He's still a man. And so there are flaws. And you have caught him off guard, from what I understand, twice now. Caught him unexpecting. Well, next time. Well, there won't be a next time. Just gonna stand there and watch me burn. Sorry. So anyways, she says, next time, it'll be on his terms.
don't think it will. You see, if we're being honest, we're the first point of now dealing with this. Like my friend said, the Arcane Congress are becoming involved. You see, Risen has been able to keep him at bay. He can't do anything. The others that come will have Dreyfus as a pet. You think dealing with just Risen? He hasn't managed to make him go away. What about when there's 3 or 5 Risens? 20. When things become known, and he's done a great job at covering his tracks, making sure that there isn't any people of faith here. But when that all comes crashing down, and the might of the Arcane Congress comes a knocking, he's not going to be able to help himself, no matter how hard he tries.
So you're gonna have to make a bluff check. However, you have a huge modifier because she knows facts. So you're literally lying in the face of facts that she is aware of. So it's literally a minus 20 to your bluff check.
Oh.
But I have a minus 20 to bluff.
Correct, because the lie is impossible. Because she knows the facts, which is Risen is ignored by, and you don't know this in game, but in the meta, I'm explaining why. She knows the facts that Risen has explained to you, or at least he explained to Regis, I don't remember why the Arcane Congress is not here in greater numbers and why he became Black Knights and all that fun shit. So
yeah, we don't know that.
Yeah. So that's the Regicide and viewers know it. Either way, so you have a minus 20 because of this. I do have a impeded sense motive. My sense motive went from a +8 to a +2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So by roll of 20, eh?
+3 is what I get.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a 20 for a second.
You didn't have any means of modifying that prior to rolling?
No.
All right. Do you want to luck that before I roll?
Can I luck it after you roll?
Nope. I only have a +3 because I usually have +8, but my wisdom's lower by 3 and I get a -2.
Let me counter you. Let me counter you on why I should be able to. Because you can use daddy dice after you know the roll.
It's whoever rolls first. No, it's whoever rolls first has to decide before the other person rolls. That's all. And since you're set in the DC,
fair enough.
you're set in the DC.
You reckon I should just leave it? I mean, she'd have to roll really low.
Yeah, she'd have to roll really low, and I'm not sure how much it would change.
It's whether or not she believes everything he just said. He just like laid a solid groundwork for why she should work with you guys. And if she believes it, but if she doesn't, then she's,
I mean, it's possible that if Scott rolls trash, I could go either way. I think there's benefits to both. We do have limited, but at the same time, it could be very useful. It could make this go very quickly, but also it might not do anything. What do you think, Neil? Good talk.
Thanks, Neil.
Hope she rolls low. Hey? 7.
Oh,
I have
ouch.
to roll a 5.
Okay, I have to, whenever I roll, it's 5 less than what I roll here.
Oh, fucking remind me to do.
Oh,
So close. It was like it rolled to a 4 and then was like, nah, 18.
that was an emotional roller coaster because that would have been a 7. That would have been a tie, which Oh, that was so.
Yeah.
That literally was like a little tease right there. That's funny. Wow. Okay, so she got a what's that? A 21 instead of the 7. So she looks to you when you say that and says, "Really? The Arcane Congress? They're on their way. Well, I suppose I should probably work with you then, as to not make things more difficult for myself in the future." It's a terrible lie.
Yeah, I know. But I said I was sensitive to everything, so
I'm literally not even putting any work into it myself.
I mean, me and Neil would pick that up too because I think our base beats that.
Yeah, you do. Yep. You don't even have to roll. Actually, Tesha's
Well,
too.
it seems.
Yeah. Oh, just what did I say about lying?
The Arcane Congress isn't coming. He's been begging for the Arcane Congress for years, haven't you? He just shrugs.
Well, I guess the one will have to do as he's been doing for years. Then I suppose Dreyfus hasn't got rid of the one.
She says, I don't know much about the relationship between the two of them, but I know that they have both chosen for their own reasons not to stop one another. That's between them, and I suppose between how you, the four of you, and how much you want to trust him. The three of you, and how much you want to trust him. But you have...
is that arrangement has changed.
She nods. What's your plan here? What are you offering me?
Well, I want you to live. I truly do. I don't think you understand the full weight of your actions. If it wasn't for the mercy you were given, you would have already been dead. From what I hear, you're lucky to be alive. I've done all I can.
She nods and says, I won't lie. That was quite the hit. Looks over at Tristan. I've never experienced...
It wasn't Tristan.
Was it? A big fucking blast of non-lethal?
I don't know if Tristan hit her at the end, because I mean, I savaged her as a...
Oh, was
Yeah,
it?
I
was-
tripped her and just like...
He was stabilized.
Like, yeah.
He
Oh,
was
that's right.
stabilized after the fact.
Yeah.
He
Oh, that's right.
He tore her apart.
I just happened to roll with my one die. Yeah, that's right. I was lucky
Yeah,
enough. Okay,
yeah.
cool. So she says, never mind. I'll take that back. She says, that was a beast. Are you an alchemist? That shit you fed me.
I can help people, if that's what you mean.
Was that you? A mutagen.
Viggo gives her like the most serious look he can, and he says, I wouldn't dream of creating something so grotesque.
I want to sense motive your bluff, but I think I'm just going to fail miserably.
Nah, I don't have that high a bluff.
I only have a 3 modifier as a reminder. Yeah, you're going to beat me.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you
thought
beat-
that was gonna be a 1 for a second, and I was like,
No, he has a plus 12. Even if he rolls a
"Oh
1,
my god, he has a plus 12."
I-
Holy shit!
I have to roll a 10 to his 1, and I still fail. So, anyway, so continuing. And she nods, understanding, like accepting what you say then, and says, so you offer me my life.
I would, yes.
You're an officer, aren't you?
That's what it says.
What quality of life?
The breathing one.
Chuckles. Like a weak chuckle, not like a haha, that was super
when
funny.
she chuckles, he says, and I mean that, because the alternative is you might still have life. But I don't know if you know, but Risen's looking for a new butler.
She looks over at Risen. He shrugs again. Looks back and says, am I going to be tried in your prisons?
That is a good question. I guess
I
it
mean,
depends on how this goes. Really.
As far as I'm aware, sir, she was merely attacked an officer of the law. If we let it go, then water under the bridge, so to speak. On the other hand, if we don't, well, the new gallows is still under construction, I imagine.
Yes, I believe you're right.
What questions do you have?
How many of those
Oh.
coffins does he have?
Honestly, don't know.
How many do you think he spoke to? He told you about resin. You talked idly about things that weren't important to you.
If I had to guess, maybe a dozen.
Is she telling the truth?
Yeah, her bluff sucks. I can't even hit a 23.
Cool.
Her bluff's a +0.
A dozen?
She said maybe a dozen.
Fuck.
She says, but honestly, I don't know.
But you do know the location of probably many.
Shakes her head. No.
Are you telling me you were entrusted with the most important of those caskets? You don't know anything else?
She nods. She says, obviously, where he was isn't exactly the safest of locations for him, but it was a very comfortable home for me, and it was important to him. You attacked him in his sanctuary. He's not going to like that.
Technically, we attacked Sanctuary.
Kind of looks a little baffled, not fully understanding what you mean, and then realizes like the weird
She was
technicality.
knocked out.
But either way,
She technically doesn't even know any of that because she was out of it the whole time.
yeah.
Who would? No.
But she knows you were in there, so and attacking her, so she assumes you fought him, right? Like, but anyways, continue.
I said who would know?
Who would know? Oh, how many? Dreyfus would.
Anyone else?
Who would know the locations of the others?
Let me ask you this: would you tell anybody?
Told you about his most important.
Wait,
Did you
what?
tell anybody about that? He said he told you about his most important.
Yeah.
And I said, would you tell anyone?
I don't think you understand the circumstances. I don't think you understand my abilities and the dangers of that location. I was there for a reason. It was most important to him because of the sentimentality of that place, not because of its significance beyond that.
But some would say that that significance is probably what's most important to him, which would mean
You pissed him
someone
off.
less likely to share that information. But you have it.
Correct,
Tell
yes.
me how you come to have it.
What was that last part?
Discussed. Sorry. Okay.
I said, tell me how you came to know.
He told me, because I earned that right. Go ahead, Tush.
Do we know if you can have more than one sanctuary active at once?
You don't know those details. You don't know how it works.
He can only have a singular one active. He has to go and prep the next one.
It's actually it's open to interpretation. The rules on it, like literally, if you read the rules, the way it is all you have to have is a bit of grave dirt from your original burial site. In theory, you could have 10 dozen of them. You know what I mean? If there's enough grave dirt in each of them for it to be satisfied. But that's, again, it's open to interpretation. So it's not defined because they want to leave vampires a little bit of, wiggle room there. But anyways, continuing.
Fuck, I was gonna now. I'll send a message to Viggo, say missive saying she might know if his sanctuary is one active or whether he can have multiple active at the same time. I'm not sure how to word the question though.
How did you earn the knowledge of what's most important to Dreyfus?
How did you earn the rank that you wear on your clothing?
Cool. That's quite a story. Let's start with you.
I earned it by being loyal. There's no one instance. There's no individual action. You do not earn the trust of a creature as ancient as him in an instant.
I'm curious. I can't help but feel that there is some connection between the creatures that arrived in a boat and our very own Dreyfus. In a boat himself, no?
She stops for a moment and thinks as to whether or not she wants to answer. But as all of you have your like piercing gazes as she's trying to contemplate how to answer, she just nods, knowing it's inevitable. Like there's no even reason to lie to this one. She says, "Yes, though certainly long before any of us were born."
Are these things vampires too?
Shakes her head. No. They're just not from here. As Dreyfus is not from here. You understand, Dreyfus is accustomed to getting what he wants.
Is Dreyfus responsible for the fog?
For the what?
Fog.
Fog. She thinks for a moment and then shakes her head and says, No. No, I'm not entirely sure exactly what that fog is. But I know it was expected. It was expected to arrive. Actually, I can inform you as to what that is. I've been doing research on that fog for decades now, but we can talk about that later on.
See, well, let's change it up a bit. Where is the field commander?
Ooh. She thinks for a moment and says, "The field commander. I don't know. Is she missing?"
Telling the truth?
Yeah.
It would appear so.
Oh. Best of luck to her then.
Is there any particular place Dreyfus may shelter those of importance that he has under his sway?
She actually thinks for a second and says, "Well, it depends on who the person is and what their purpose is."
Well, let's say the field commander.
Well, somebody with that kind of position, I imagine, would be useless to be sheltered and would be much more useful out in the open and doing their job, though, in a way that is beneficial to him. However, you're saying collected yet not converted. I imagine that's what you mean. In which case, she shrugs. There are many different locations where that could be. It is the Dice Lords, right? They have a couple of outposts here and there. Could be one of those locations. I don't know too much about the inner workings of that criminal organization. I have no interest in it.
Is there anywhere he won't go?
Is there anywhere he won't go? She says, the water.
As Galen was speaking, obviously, and her eyes were towards him, can I try and catch Triss's gaze, I guess?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Do I have to roll anything for it, or can I just do it?
You try to catch his gaze. I mean, usually innuendo is done with bluff checks. So if you make a bluff check via his sense motive, he picks it up.
And then to add more to the distraction,
Sure,
I
go ahead.
also have followed that up with anywhere in the city, somewhere he doesn't want to go or wants to avoid.
Oh, I know what you mean. Perhaps in the past, but things have changed a lot recently, haven't they?
Damn it.
I think this has become his. That's fine. You're good. He'd be able to pick it up. Remember, there's modifiers for knowing each other and so on and so forth. But anyways, she says, perhaps in the past, but things have changed rapidly recently, haven't they? I know that he eventually wanted to have a stronger control of the city, and I imagine that's happening. Though your interference has certainly slowed it down. It's inevitable.
Catching Triss's kind of look, Viggo mouths like press her.
Mouths what? Sorry.
Press her.
Press her.
Like put her on a board and start,
Okay.
like bench press her. Well, not up, but out. Just not vertical, not horizontal at the moment. So.
What?
As you said, people's lives are on the line. He's a very angry and dangerous individual. Why can't he just leave on that boat with the others? Not his kind, no, but more or less.
Shakes her head. They are his kind. And they've come here for a new life. Why would he leave? This land is his. Some just haven't accepted it yet. You should know what that means. You are Perrin.
So they're vampires like him. I thought you said they weren't.
They're not vampires. They're from a place that isn't here. Where he comes from is different. So different than here. You have to understand, he was born to rule.
So you're saying his kind have some sort of caste system built into their species. And these are his peasants.
They are peasants. And I imagine soon to be his. Yes.
But not yet.
Well, they've only just arrived, haven't they?
So they're not with him. At least not yet.
She shakes her head. I know that he had intentions. And she looks a little like furrowing her brow, like trying to see what you're getting at here. But obviously her wisdom's so low, she can't put two and two together, even though obviously I do. So she furrows her brow a bit and she says he's had intentions of speaking with them, but aside from that one time, he hasn't had much of an opportunity because there's constant battles at the docks. And then she just kind of like, she would gesture. She also instinctively goes to gesture at you guys, but can't because she's tied up.
Yeah. That means he already tried to get in contact with them before the fights broke out. So maybe conflict at the docks is actually good right now because that keeps him away from them. Because adding more undead, like, I don't think we want his influence to get stronger and more people to fight.
I mean, you guys heard how the undead were able to slaughter
exactly
down there, but you guys fought them, and you guys they were like, oh, that was easier than expected. But for regular guards, guards are level 2 warriors. They cut through them.
Oh, Okay, I think I misunderstood the undead thing. Was it the skeletons we faced? They were the ones that were.
Remember, so you guys fought skeletons, right? That were able to speak, and then there's also the creatures at the docks that seem to not care about the weapons attacking them and are cutting through the guards. Okay, we're on the same page.
Okay.
Because the ones that were inside the cavern already served him, obviously, right?
Yeah. Okay. I was imagining more zombie-like undead than
The ones at the docks aren't bones; they're flesh. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
If
Made a
he's,
connection.
if he's not spoken to them yet, would they join him? Will they join him? Do they have a choice?
She shrugs and says, "I'm not entirely sure how their things work there. I don't inquire. I don't." She says, "I don't entirely. I'm not entirely sure how things work there. It is not my place to question a prince."
He's a prince.
He was born to rule.
Bad luck, that. Bad luck. My understanding is there's a group of individuals in the city who've already gained a bit of a taste for the killing of princes. Ones with otherworldly powers.
She doesn't fully know what you mean by that because obviously she doesn't know what lopers are. But she would know of some of the difficulties that have been caused by. Actually, hold on. I'm trying to think of timeline here. So more or less last night while you guys were sleeping was when, what's his name? Ophios would have fought, Dreyfus. It was last night while you guys were sleeping. And he had killed one then, and I think they killed one just prior to that too, didn't they?
I would have no clue. I've been deliberately not paying attention to that.
Yeah, they did one just prior to that too.
Separated.
So yeah, so sorry. So she says, so I'm just trying to think of how to respond to this. It's just been weeks, real life. So in game, she responds and says, there is a group out there that's grown to be difficult. Actually, there seems to be two of you. All in due time. I imagine he'll have things handled.
He's been doing a stellar job so far, hasn't he? Cutting a real regal figure, like.
She doesn't respond to that.
Well, I'm afraid you haven't given us anything to really go on. Prison. Not yet. Stay your hand.
She says,
I know you're eager after Johnny was killed. I don't remember his butler's name.
Let me,
He had a name. Did he?
what's his bluff check? Hold on. His bluff is he has a +7. Huh, she could actually sense motive through that. She only has a +3.
I get to assist with that, right?
So
It doesn't matter.
he says, yeah, chomping at the bit.
Right. Well,
As he's like startled that you had said it. You know what I mean? Like it caught him off guard.
yeah.
Anyways, so she says, you could have said the same thing about any information that I gave you. I could give you the location of each one of his coffins or caskets or what have you. I could have given you the names of everybody in his organization, where they live and who they love. And you could simply say, that's not any new information to us. Nothing actionable there. We were just trying to verify.
You see, because in the end, you don't matter. Dreyfus does. You You don't matter to us. So if you don't want to help yourself, you're resigning yourself to one fate. You could get on a ship and leave. I don't care. I don't care about you.
It's either a bluff or an intimidate. I'll accept either one of them in that one, but they're not bluff. Sorry, diplomacy or intimidate. I'll accept either one because you're making a deal, but you're also threatening to make a deal. Both of them apply.
Yeah, I'm gonna use diplomacy.
Okay.
What I was trying to get at.
That's a sexy one. She says, then tell me what you want to know that is within reason that I can provide for you. You're asking questions that I couldn't possibly know the answer to. And that's your own ignorance that's limiting my ability to assist.
I'm going to send a little message to him saying she must know something in the years she served, something that he wouldn't want us to know. Some weakness, some flaw.
Listen, you're loyal. You've said as much. You've been rewarded. Dreyfus trusts you to whatever extent a creature like him can. You're important to him in a way. Important piece on his chessboard. Tell me, there are things that you know that Dreyfus doesn't want out there. Whether it be weaknesses, important bits of information, similar to his crypt next to his wife, I believe.
Her lips purse when you say that, but yes.
Purse in what way?
Like when you mentioned the wife.
So she probably knew that, basically, I think. That's the reveal that she definitely knew that was the wife.
Yeah. Right, so I'll leave that open to her.
I don't know how much you know about creatures like him, but you would know that that home, that place, isn't the wisest location for someone like him to be spending their resting time. Whether it be a storm or a need for escape, it has very limited option and much danger.
Priestess of the deep.
It was a chosen location because it was his lady's location. It's where she wanted to be. Unlike him, she was not weak to... let me rephrase that. Unlike him, she was not... she did not have an aversion to the open sea. In fact, she's the reason why he crossed the sea to begin with. Always willing to go where she wanted to be. And so, a home that she had selected that kept her close to the ocean is where they always chose to rest. After her demise, he continued to be there. She shakes her head long before we were born. Again, questions. I got a little detail because I inquired once and learned not to inquire again. There was an accident. There was a natural quake caused the pillar to collapse on her. There was a sconce that was on the pillar. I don't have any more detail, but I'm pretty sure we can all understand from that.
Is he likely to set up another sarcophagus in that chamber?
For some reason, you're actually getting quieter and quieter when you use the voice mod.
I don't know what that is, but I'll just say
Yeah.
Is he likely to set up another sarcophagus in that chamber because of this?
Honestly, I do not know. I know one thing. He's furious. That is his home. You say another sarcophagus? He has his home inside there. He has a sarcophagus, and he's never replaced hers in all the years.
That's right. She doesn't know we destroyed it. Should we mention that we destroyed it? This is 100% beaming back
100%.
Yeah. Then he would. I'm gonna forgo the voice effects for today until I figure out what's going on.
Hi. Wife just scared the shit out of me. She waits until I'm looking this way, and then she's like, and comes just within view to creep me out.
We destroyed his sarcophagus.
You did what? Oh. Not only did you ruin his ability to sleep next to his wife, but that was... That sarcophagus was the last gift made for him by his wife and her family prior to him leaving for this land. I have one bit of advice for you. This is actionable. I suggest you take it. If you want to continue living, if you want to continue breathing, leave. Take the opportunity now and leave. You have to understand, you fought Dreyfus individually before, and you've won. Congratulations. You've done what almost nobody he has ever encountered would have the ability to do. Take that as a mark of valor and move on. Dreyfus has under his command easily 100+ people. How many soldiers still serve Paradel in the fallen streets? You think more aren't going to be under his sway? Where's the field commander? Maybe those soldiers have just marked you as their enemy too. Run. Do not look back.
If I was Dreyfus, I feel like I'd be rather upset with the guard who's protecting the resting place of myself and my wife.
I appreciate your concern, and certainly it's something I'm going to have to deal with if even I'm allowed to live long enough to do so. But run.
Sounds like you'd need passage out of the state, perhaps into somewhere a little way away, surrounded by water, nice little island.
Is there a specific thing you're getting to? She says, looking confused.
You're being helpful. Paradel gives those who help second chances.
What are you asking for in return? You want me to help you get out?
If that's what he decides, yes.
She looks over at Jake.
Yeah, Viggo, while she was talking, went over to try and have a bit of a sidebar with Risen.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I want to move out of earshot. Just like
Sure. You just kind of like walk past him and give that head nod. You guys walk out of the walk out of his office and head over to, a different area, maybe his kitchen or whatever. Or you guys just step outside.
Yeah. All right. Viggo turns to him and says, "She really hasn't provided us with anything actionable. Run. We knew that already. Can't tell us where, we might find this other sarcophagus. She's not helped us at all, Risen. For anything you think might help us. Because even if we do manage to put down Dreyfus again, and I have an idea, if you can just go back to these one of many different coffin things, it appears that we could be doing this for years if we were so fortunate to live every time.
He thinks for a moment. Well, I don't think that he would allow her to know too much information, right? Like, if he's really a creature that's ancient, as she said, I knew he's older than me, but a creature that's ancient, if he's a creature that was born as a prince, a ruler, and likely trained, raised to be as such, keeping secrets close to his chest makes sense, especially if those secrets can mean certain demise in a world of people that would want you dead. So that tracks, that makes sense. But what doesn't track was what she said about his wife. She isn't, I forget how she phrased it, but more or less isn't afraid of water, meaning she doesn't have a weakness or an aversion to it, the same way as a vampire does in accordance to the legends. This suggests that maybe that there are holes in the legends that you and I understand, which means that maybe there are certain aversions that we are familiar with affecting vampires that don't apply to him. Do you know what I mean by that? Maybe, well, we know sunlight affects him. I know that personally. Water is a concern. He keeps a cleric or priestess of Lothar here, so obviously that's true. But maybe there's another weakness that we need to be aware that doesn't affect him. Because if you are going to engage with him, learning that would be wise. Is there any hints or anything that you've come across in your engagements with him that I wouldn't be aware of?
It was a long time ago, IRL.
Hmm.
Not anything that pops out. Fire isn't a concern for them, I don't think, right?
Mm-hmm. He shakes his head and says, that's a bit of information we might be able to get from her. But honestly, I'm just thinking for a moment. None of us are wed. None of us have had spouse. But let's put it into phrasings that we could understand. Think of it as if it were your mom. If someone destroyed the one location where you'd be able to pay homage to your late mom, and then went walking around, traipsing around in her clothing, perhaps things are a bit far. I'm not too worried should you lots, and certainly if I'm there to help you, were to engage with Dreyfus specifically. But what if all of them came? How many does he have? What if all of them came at once? What if they brought mortals too? Not mortals, sorry. What if they brought servants too? Can you handle it?
We probably don't have long. They probably know we're here. But that tracks was what I possibly have planned. You see, we have ways of getting information out and about that doesn't look like it came from us. Now, one thing we are certain of is Dreyfus reveres his dead wife. And as we now know, Tristan is wearing her most precious belongings. So if word got out that we were to leave town, retreating, leaving, and he was to think that he would never see those items again, he may be so desperate enough to give chase himself, not leaving it up to the ability of others. So, say we are able to get him out of the city. If we do kill him, he'll just return. This is where you have much more knowledge of the city. Is there any way you have people that you trust who could destroy things while we're engaging him?
He can't just return, though. If he was defeated, he only has so much time to return to his coffin or sarcophagus or what have you. I don't know how long it is exactly, a couple of hours. So it's only as far as he can travel in a few hours' time. So if you're saying that you are a day's travel outside of the city, well, then he cannot return. He'd have to return to whatever receptacle he brought with him. However, on the road, it is likely he would only have an individual, or best case scenario, 2, if he properly planned, receptacles. That could work, because then you would have a significantly lower number of things that can need to be destroyed, and they could, in theory, be discovered or tracked.
He's also much more likely to act now, come after us if we do that. Before, he definitely wouldn't have. That's the way we can use the anger.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. But these receptacles that, would he have time? Let's say he does manage to place them.
Hmm?
It's not like he can lug a big sarcophagus around.
Or you could bring a
Not in
coffin.
timely fashion.
You could bring a coffin easily.
And that could be destroyed.
Also, benefit the fog may not go that far.
Oh, the fog wouldn't.
The fog doesn't go much beyond the city.
Perfect. Okay.
If we time it right, this all depends on Dreyfus and how angry, desperate he is.
We could also use the rumor thing to make him think that he learned it himself. Like,
yeah,
think
that's
that he's
what I
got
said
the
to
drop
reason.
on us. Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
More or less use Pan's ability,
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean, to leak the information not coming anywhere from us, kind of thing.
Yep. She just has to drop it in the right location.
So if he is defeated and turns into that mist, he'll likely head straight for the receptacle. So isn't it only a matter of following? And if I can remember, he's not terribly fast. Not in mist form, anyway.
He wouldn't be. It moves like a rolling fog.
So we could theoretically just ride alongside him as he returns.
As long as you could perceive him. Also, if that fog is exposed to sunlight, that would be a certain demise as well.
What if we planned it and everything went perfectly? That we were going to take a ship out of town, so there is a sense of urgency.
Oh,
We have a port that we're getting picked up from, or a place we're getting picked up from that's about a day's travel away. And he has to act now or forever lose the items of his beloved.
if we could time it so that it was dawn, but like it was still like the sun was still coming up, I could fly up to where the sun is exposed and mirror down towards the smoke.
So you're not in this conversation because they had the other side, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
My
So
bad.
I'd like to respond to that, but I can't,
Yep.
So he nods and says, sounds it's a plan that could work.
To be honest, I think from everything I've gathered, I think that's the only plan. We can't tackle him here. This won't work.
And unfortunately, as much as I would like to... As much as I would like to push for the idea of you retreating, because I had a certain understanding before, the simple fact of the matter is that has been unbalanced. I have played my hands too much. I've leaned too much in your favor in the past. Things cannot return to the balance that they were before. Eliminating Dreyfus is the only option for me as well. So if there is a parts that I can play in this, I wish to play my part.
Well, unless you've got any ideas, one I'm thinking of is we could really use you. However, it must appear if you were to come with us that you were still within the city. That would leave Dreyfus feeling a lot more confident.
I'm no illusionist.
Maybe it doesn't have to be that.
My apologies. Says I'm no illusionist, but I'm capable of using illusion spells. If I had my hands on a major image or something, perhaps. But you say it doesn't have to be that. What do you have in mind?
What about a good old-fashioned disguise? You do have friends, people that would be willing to possibly stay here for a night.
I did. Many of them are dead. Many others have fled. Many others are too scared to leave their homes for extended periods.
If you could find one.
If. It's possible. But it is an if.
Well, there's always mundane disguises as well.
Nods.
I think this needs more thought and probably with the others, but I think we've got a basis of a plan.
He just kind of smiles.
I really don't like her, Risen. Really don't like her.
I mean, who worships the ocean?
Are you, by chance, looking to replace Johnny?
I've told you before. I can't create these things.
Okay, I'm going to sense motive, Risen.
Huh? You sensed motive him before and you believed him.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Creating undead is a very, very, very difficult thing to do, or at least any undead worthy of having around. That's in theory, I'll get access to that kind of magic if my thesis gets accepted. Oh, but unfortunately, I did pass it in, as I told you I did. We had that discussion days ago at this point, but I've been distracted with...
I can imagine. Well, I don't think offering her... Trish is a good-hearted lad. I really, truly believe he'd let her go. Taking chances and whatnot, you heard him. But letting her go really isn't an option.
He raises an eyebrow.
Let me think on the matter. Going to look up some of the well, let's just see what I can do well within Peridot law. I'm sure there is emergency sections for crisis situations.
Oh, who knows? If the field commander missing, maybe you're the one in charge. He says with like a weak laugh. Like he clearly was joking, but you know.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I've been holding off having to pee for like forever now. I have to pee so fast before we go back to the RP with her. So I'll be right back. Hey, I have to go drain my summoned snake. Hi, Snake.
While he is no longer listening, I mean, it's not that big of a secret. There were a couple of things I wanted to bring up as options. One, we probably should inform the barracks that silvered weapons are the way to go. If they're still under... Well, actually, we know who's in command now, and they're not pleasant. But we still don't want...
We don't
them to-
necessarily know whether he's still in command. Could be the
No,
field
no.
commander.
We know that
Which is objectively
the
worse
one
for
that we
us.
hate took over. Yeah. We know that Guinevere, I think, is the Centurion of War, took over. No, Yolanda was the one we wanted. Yolanda's the one that just got the Battle Centurion is the no. Yolanda is the one we like, but she's no longer in command. Guinevere is
Yes.
Field Commander Marilla is the one that was under control. So yeah, Guinevere is currently in command, which, as much as I don't like her, I still want her to have the appropriate information to fight these things.
This can be given by Pan though.
Yeah,
She can,
yeah,
like-
that's what I'm thinking. It can be given some other way,
Yeah.
but we should definitely
Not only
provide them
that,
with the
you know-
information.
You know what I'm thinking as well? What if we're able with Pan, if she actually does, and she wasn't lying to us, know how to get in contact with Crow, and have him watch and maybe tail,
Fuck yes,
Dreyfus,
because he
or
has
whoever-
no idea that Crow's involved in it with this. That is very
Yeah.
true.
and then if he offloads a coffin here, a coffin there, he could destroy it.
Oh, that is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we need to get together and talk about this, and then next play is talk to Pan.
Yes, I agree. The good news is I can scout relatively safely, because I can fly above the mist, and I have a fairly solid stealth even above the mist. So I can go find out what's going on with some things. I can try and find Pan, stuff like that. The mist is a problem, but I mean, the fact is I do have an out. I can just fly up, so. I mean, honestly, I could just fly around the city 30 foot up, or maybe a little bit below 30 foot up, fly around the city where I think Pan would be, constantly make connection, be like, Pan.
Trying to find her.
And wait for a, what the fuck?
God, I had to pee so bad. All right. All right. Whew. You good?
Yeah. All right. So, the last thing I'll say before they enter back in is, do you have a way of knocking her back out without, socking it to her?
No. I could drain her life.
Non-lethal damage, I think, is the way to go.
All right. Well, let's reconvene.
So the entire time that you guys were out there, conversation still would have happened inside. Last thing that was discussed inside was talking about run. You know what I mean? And oh well, you did help or whatever. And she was like, then she would have said as you walked out, like you said, because you walked out in the middle of them having that conversation, she would have said to Galen and Tristan, she would have said, so what's the plan? Do you want me to help you get out of here then? And we never got a response from that.
I don't know what Tristan's planning, so I'm just going to let him do this.
I need to
finish
wait
that.
for Viggo to come back, really. Like, I guess I'd be making slight idle conversation with her. Nothing real.
Well, she did give you that pointed question though of like, so what do you want me to help you escape or get out or whatever?
I said if that's what he decides.
Okay, so that would be the answer. And then when I imagine you say, why don't we give them a moment? And like you said, we can kind of switch to more or less idle conversation that doesn't mean anything of value. And
maybe
we can
get her like a glass of water or something.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Help her wash down that fucking flavor. Her strength would have returned from the ray of enfeeblement. That would have returned. But not the enervation lasts, what? I think it's like hours or days. And the other one is permanent until you have the curse removed. So she won't have cleric spells until she has a powerful spell to remove the curse. Because bestow curse is duration permanent, yeah. So she's incapable of using magic. Yeah. Enervation is duration instantaneous. But she's able to so it regains lost levels after a number of hours equal to your caster level, maximum 15. Yeah. So it returns in 9 hours or whatever it is for him. 7, 9 hours, whatever it is. All right. She can have 0 levels. Her wisdom's an 8. Because it was a 14. And she took a 6-point damage. So her wisdom's currently an 8. All right. Anyways, back to you guys. So yeah, he comes walking back in. I should say they come walking back in.
I think we need to have a bit of a conversation. She really hasn't been able to help. But let's see what we can do.
Just out of meta, there was a question we did need to ask her, which was what is he weak to? So we know that if there's one of his weaknesses that we think he has that he doesn't have.
That's right. All the time you've spent with Dreyfus, is there something he avoids, like, not the plague, but like water, I guess? Something that he will not permit near him.
Not that I'm familiar with.
Once again, I'm just going to assume everything she says is true, unless otherwise stated.
Yeah. I mean, because she's thinking, and she's like, she's kind of like it's too generic or too open of a question, and she can't think of any examples. She says, obviously sunlight and water, but beyond that, he enjoys a fine meal, good company. Realizes she almost complimented herself.
A fan of garlic, is he?
I imagine it's used often it's certainly in the meals that he eats.
What about mirrors? Looking at himself in the mirror?
Well, there's no mirrors where I stayed. And any other location where I've seen him, they are more public areas that wouldn't necessarily have a mirror in it anyways. So I wouldn't say that he has an aversion to them, because I've never seen his other homes. I've never seen him.
I'm really high on that vampire lore thing.
Mhm.
Is there anything I'm like forgetting off the top of my head that they're
Oh, garlic mirrors, sunlight. Is garlic mirrors, sunlight, water, holy water, and a stake through the heart. Those are the big things.
Okay. Can't really think of anything.
Yeah, she shakes her head. So,
Yeah.
Fleeing the city. My purpose. Is it to help you in fleeing the city?
I guess that's what we're going to decide.
Nods.
All right. Well, I guess Scott, break out your electrical cords and.
Oh, so I was gonna say, if you go to gag her again, she would explicitly say, "Could you not do that?"
I'm gonna look to Risen. He understands magic more than I do.
She says, listen, I seem to not have my spells in mind anyways. I seem to have forgotten them. Whatever it was that you did to me, Risen, I seem to have forgotten my spells. He actually beams at that one and says, oh, more effective than I expected. He leans over to you and says, she must not be that wise to begin with. I mean, does serve a vampire.
I'm assuming I believe that with the sense motivating blah blah blah. Oh, then I would just sort of nod to Viggo that, like, and say, yeah, she's telling the truth.
Don't get up to anything. We're just one room over.
Sorry, father-in-law just walked by, so I was saying hi to him. Anyways, what were we saying? I'm sorry. I heard what you said, Tesh, but not that last sentence from Jake.
I said, don't get up to anything. We're only a room over.
She nods.
Sense of motive.
She can't do anything. If you let's do it this way. If you guys are like leering at her, she'll even go, I don't know what else you would expect I could do. You took my rod.
Did we?
Yeah, you took her objects when she was knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What was the rod? Was that the javelin? Is that what she's?
No, she had a rod. It's one of the objects that you guys got off of her.
All right. Well, let's take this conversation into the next room.
Okay, so you guys go over there.
Yeah. Well, we have a.
No, we got a harpoon, sickle, chainsaw, and symbol of Luther, and that's all we got off her.
She had some magic thing that cast rot, some type of rot or something, wasn't it?
No, the explosion of rot. That's not from her. That's from
That's from the druid.
Druid,
Right.
yeah. No, we didn't get anything like that off her. There was a harpoon, sickle,
Oh,
chainsaw.
she had, and she also had her amulet, and she also had a rod.
You didn't tell us what we were
Yeah,
looting.
you
No?
didn't tell us about the rod.
Oh, well, she has a rod. Had a rod.
We have one.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
I'll add
that's
that to
like,
the.
you forgot to loot it. Back, pippity bappity, dimension
So I'll
door
add rod
wappity.
to the list of things we need to identify them.
Yep.
Yeah, because that definitely this is where I'm glad I specifically separated each person's loot, so I knew exactly what came from each person.
Nope, she had a rod, and I guess she'll find out why that matters conversationally soon. But go ahead.
We should have that identified ASAP.
How
Wait,
important
hang
is it? Because we got everything identified, so
Yeah,
you just want
that's
to
a
make
good
a roll
point. We
for
probably
Risen,
would
so
have
we
had it
kind of
already
know
identified.
what it is.
Deal with it afterwards. Keep going.
Okay, it's not important.
Yeah, get the conversation going.
Right, so we'll, move into the other room, kind of out of earshot. Viggo says, well, we've got the start of a plan. As all of us are now aware, Dreyfus is very angry. Not only is he angry, he is also what's the word? Can't remember what I was gonna say now.
I mean, because angry works.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I meant like frantic almost over
Yeah.
his wife's possessions. Right. What if we ask Pan for help? We go out of the city at a day's ride away from the many sarcophagus that he has in the city. And we haven't known that we're about to get on a boat. So Dreyfus, in his panic, hopefully not trusting others to deal with objects of such personal significance to him, comes to get them himself.
You know-
Reason has said that he'll be able to possibly bring some coffins to leave along the way if he does chase us. But what also, if we talk to Pan, let's see if she could reach out to Crow and have Crow tail Dreyfus leaving the city. Maybe pick up, where he leaves these receptors along the way.
I just happen to have some friends about a day's trip away from the city right now. Scott, some of the people that I trained with my abilities happen to be nearby.
Well, that is
They're in the crows. That's all right. The Black Knights, the caverns. They're camping out there for now. I don't know. I believe they're still there. I could see if I can get a hold of them and see if they're willing to help, or at the very least, set up some sort of ambush.
Well, I think that is an unexpected treasure. We need all the resources we can, but I'm trying to think with the plan with the greatest probability of success. And not gonna lie, this one gives us some hope. But we would still have to best Dreyfus. He may not, probably won't come alone.
Yeah,
he won't come in force.
Yeah. Luckily, the more people he brings, the slower he would be, so he can't come with too many if we're making it urgent. But that means we have to time it so that we're fully set up when that rumor spreads.
We need to talk to Pan today and leave the city today. All plans need to be put in place
ASAP.
ASAP.
Travis, I agree.
You've been very quiet. Any thoughts?
Risen, you mean? You said Dreyfus?
I said Triss.
Oh, Triss. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I thought you said Dreyfus. I thought you were talking to me. My apologies.
No. Dreyfus, any thoughts? Why, hello there.
Indubitably.
We try to feign an escape like that, he will undoubtedly attack us during the night.
He would. But if we can time when information reaches him, we could possibly also manage to set it up where he catches us early hours of the morning.
So let's do some quick math. He travels pretty fucking fast himself. Do we want to risk trying to give him only a couple hours, which may make him come with maybe some vampires that match his speed, but he would have to come immediately? Or do we want to give him enough time to have a couple more things, but have a more wider time frame that he'll show up?
A couple hours, probably.
So the information would have to be that there is maybe the rumor can be that 3 Perrin officers commissioned a smuggling ship to take us from this location at this time, sort of thing.
Not only that, we have a contact with the merchants. We could actually arrange.
Holy shit, you're right.
What if
we could actually
made
organize for it to happen, and instead of being an escape, it's an ambush. That's actually a really good idea.
We could always have the information feed to him in different ways. Rumors from Pan. If we felt she could be trusted, Vera could deliver a message saying that we've left hours ago. That's how you get the time across.
She's too loyal to Dreyfus.
She seems loyal to herself. No reason to leave.
She idolizes Dreyfus. He is in all sense of the word, her prince.
What if we don't tell her that she's playing a part in our plans? What if she just overhears when we're to leave? We leave her tied here. She breaks free. She goes and tells him.
You're adding an element of risk.
We're going to fight a vampire. Viggo, there's already an element of risk.
That's
There is,
actually
but
not a bad
we're
idea
all
right
about
now.
probability, and that brings the probability down significantly.
It would
I
be
need
a
to think
second form
on-
of information.
I also need to think on. We need to think on what to do with her. I'm going to look up the what I can about Paradel's laws, especially in times of emergency. We made a deal with Risen for helping us actually destroy Dreyfus and, all intents and purposes, free the people here. But if we start pardoning too many people without going through the proper channels, we could find ourselves labeled traitors.
Well, glad I was first.
Now, Risen, as he's informed me, is now all in as well. So it would not just be us, it would be him with us. But I'm trying to think of a way to make it seem as though he's still here in his house.
Actually, you know what's funny is I was thinking of talking about probability, ambushes, getaways, chases, all this stuff. It's an awful lot of planning. One of the things that I personally think are funny about you lot is your knee-jerk reactions. We all have them. Let's not sit here and pretend like I'm above that, right? But I tend to think a bit more critically about things than you do. And the likelihood, and the reason I do that is because I'm pretty sure I'm older than the three of you, the sum of you, of all your ages, right? If he is as old as she, or I mean, older than even I thought he was, it's very unlikely he'd be willing to make a brash decision. Attack, yes, obviously. Revenge, this, that, and the other thing, yes, of course. Like, we all understands that, and you're manipulating with the beautiful attire and what have you. But what's the likelihood he's willing to throw all caution to the wind? What if instead of pursuing you himself, because that's how you or I would do it, what if instead he throws all of his assets, or at least the ones that are capable of doing this sort of a thing, at you, but still remains home? Sends his little minions, because they're replaceable, the spawn, and he remains back. Sends his servants that serve the minions and himself directly, but once again, he stays in Melisal. Then we could be dealing with a much greater force, or even a expected force, but not the target that was desired, and gives him more time to better fortify back home while you're gone. In this case, would it not be wise to run away with the pieces, but in fact not leave, instead stay behind? If you do that, it gives you two things that can happen. One, he stays behind, and indeed, you would have a much more clear opportunity to fight him, with many of his servants gone. But also, two, if he is gone, wreak absolute havoc in his absence. Finding the location of his various caskets, coffins, sarcophagi, whatever he happens to have, destroying those. Any spawn he leaves behind to watch things in his absence are removed. If there are, in fact, any guard to the Paradol military that are capable of being utilized, well, we saw what we did with the Black Knights.
We would need to know locations, and unfortunately, the person in command at the moment has a grudge with us.
We won't be able to count on help from the military.
We
However,
can try, but we won't be able to count on it.
that's the gamble, though, isn't it? If we're gambling on the fact that he may send these people after us, but if we actually get a boat, right? Because let's be real, the Dice Lords have spies within the Merchants Guild. That would get back to them that we have a boat there anyway. If we manage to get to that boat and then we're gone, everything that he has left of his wife is gone. If you think that he'll leave that up to chance.
No. You're thinking of this still like a parent. Let me put it this way. Him losing his wife's belongings is absolutely devastating. I'm agreeing with you. But you're thinking about it in the short term. When you live hundreds, if not thousands of years, what's a decade without the belongings? They will inevitably be found.
If we were to stay in the city, we're back to square one. We may not have as much resistance, but let's be real. We're not finding all these locations. Like it's nigh impossible. It's 4 of us.
What if we leaked locations that we would be escaping from via several different sources? Book a ship with the merchants, speak to the local army, speak to Pan, and speak to Elvira. Give them all different things, make him split up his forces.
It would greatly increase the chances that he is sending more, sure. But what are you getting at?
We can't fight him in an army.
He'd be much likely to go himself if he didn't know exactly which one we were at.
Funny, I was thinking the opposite. If he doesn't know which one it is.
Exactly.
If he doesn't know which one it is, he sends his minions to each location.
And he's
That's
less
what I
well
mean.
defended. Oh, it sounded like you said he's more likely to go himself.
No, I said he's less likely to go
Yeah.
himself if he's...
Oh, you must have said he's
if he
much
knows
less
the exact
likely. It
location.
sounded like much more likely. Okay, go
I
ahead.
might
Yeah,
have said much less likely, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So he's less likely to go himself, so if we want to rely on him being less guarded, multiple locations, I think, is the way to go.
I mean, sure, absolutely. Now, mind you, he might personally go. Your plan might be a valid one. I'm just trying to draw conclusions from my own experience. I see how you do things and I chuckle at it compared to how I do things. Similar to how you must do things and chuckle at the way the Karak make decisions, yeah?
Brisbane, can I ask you something?
Hmm?
You were writing a dissertation about the fog, right?
Oh, yeah, indeed, yes. Actually beams at that.
What if the last piece of information you needed was in some dusty old tome and it was being shipped out that very day?
It's different. It's different.
It's not different because you want to finish that dissertation and it is so important.
No. I get the I get the premise. I mean, I drew a parallel to mom rather than wife, since none of us have experienced that before, right? So I get what you're trying to say, but my desires and his, I mean, it's still theorized as to whether or not undead have emotions the way that we do, right? Like we were talking about love.
Dreyfus does though.
He definitely has emotions.
No, I'm aware, but and he seems to wear them on his sleeve. But are they still as keen as our emotions? We don't know. And certainly, again, you're adding generations more. I get your point. And so I'm saying that your plan might work, but I'm also saying it might not. He didn't spend over 100 years in this town slowly biding his time because he doesn't care to eventually have the town. He did so for a reason. He was waiting for an opportunity to take the town in a natural way that allowed him to be the undisputed ruler without having to make things be messy. The only reason why his plan is falling apart is because of you and the other group of fools that I really need to bend over my knee. But anyways, his plan was slowly worked into and completely came to fruition exactly as he wanted it to. He would be the undisputed ruler if it wasn't for the kink in the spokes that you put there.
As a
Again,
the fog, you mentioned earlier that you knew what it was, what was causing it.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with what's causing it, but I'm very familiar with what this fog is. It's literally what my dissertation's about. If this finally gets accepted,
is there a way to dissipate it? Is there a way?
Oh, it's fog.
Effective ways of dissipating for longer periods of time.
It's fog. Being fog, it works just like any other fog. Large gusts of wind disrupt the fog, but because of the surrounding fog, the pressure of it would eventually roll back in. I suppose if you wanted to bring magic involved, a wall of wind, in theory, could do so. So that had like a constant and powerful draft.
Do you have anything that might be able to do it? Because if we do end up fighting him in the fog during the day, I imagine stuff like that would be key.
Yes and no. Just thinking for a moment here, because again, this is literally just a fog.
Being able to dissipate it briefly enough to harm him and to stem his regeneration, but I could only do that for a couple, half a minute to a minute.
No. I understand. So because it's fog, it works the same way as any other fog. You ever notice when we're inside, there's no fog? Well, that's because fog is usually easily stopped by basic barriers. So if you're asking if there's something I could do, well, in theory, I could pull the moisture from the air, utilizing some arcane magics, say the actual moisture of the fog itself, to summon a wall of ice. Well, taking that moisture would clear away a little bit of the fog for a moment, but making a wall of ice that's in the shape of, say, a circle or a square would make a wall that the fog would then have to slowly creep over and back into. That would give a period of time that the fog is temporarily held at bay. With no roof, the sun would be able to shine in down below. Depends on how tall the fog is where we are and to how high of a wall I can make. But
regardless, Dreyfus can move fast. He could just move away from it.
Well, there's a wall, so he would have to jump over the wall, right? And in that scenario, he would be subjected to the sunlight in that time, meaning all of his regenerative abilities would be inhibited, even if just for a moment. And from what I understand of your ability to fight this thing, a moment could be a moment too much for him. The problem is you keep talking about horseback and whatnot. The wall or chamber, shall I say, that I would craft wouldn't be particularly large. I don't know how much utilization of a horse you would have.
I feel like we're getting away from the point. We have two options.
Combat can come later, yes.
I still, like I said, this is a gamble either way, and I think this is something we need to decide, because we're either betting on emotion, which we know Dreyfus has extreme feelings for his dead wife, anger, despair, grief, all of that stuff, right? So I think we could get it out there in a way that it wouldn't seem as much like a trap, like telling the merchants, having them send a ship there, leaving very quickly. We know Dreyfus is angry, and making that bet. The other option is to do as Risen said. We stay in the city, and let's say he empties everything out, even if he sends every one of his minions out after us.
We don't know.
We're stuck at the same point as we are now, because we can't, even if we kill him, there's 20 places he could go, maybe more.
Yeah, that is an issue. At least if we do plan the ambush tactic of outside the city, we know that varying lengths of time, the more people he sends, the longer it's going to take for them to arrive, right?
That is true. I'll need coordination.
So if it
And
takes
if things
too
are
long,
time pressed,
well, the thing is, if it takes too long past a certain point, we know that he's probably not coming himself, or is coming with too many forces, and we can bail. Try again.
Well, I
and do
believe-
something else.
there is an ability to communicate. Can you? There's a thing I've seen and read about it. They some spell that makes animal messenger. Wonder if Crow may have access to something like that.
Maybe
Tell us, give us a warning.
his namesake suggests so.
I don't know if does he have magic?
He seemed more like me.
But in
Little
his
stealthier.
but in his profession, he may need things like that, which is where Pan could possibly come into play again. But let's get back to it. If we stay here, what do we do? We can't kick down every door, find every hidden crevice that Dreyfus may find.
See-
The only thing I can think of is bet it all on black. And if it doesn't work out, we cannot do anything else here. We have managed to do as much as we can. We must return to the River King and tell him the situation. There is, once again, 3 of us with not the support of the military. The field commander is under Dreyfus's sway. What more can we do?
Well, you already did something to me, yeah? Harking back to what you keenly reminded me of this morning, Tristan. You made a power vacuum when the Black Knights were all very rapidly disposed of. Since that power vacuum was created, there's been a ploy by the different organizations to fill that vacuum. If you're going through all this trouble, luring them here, bringing them there, etc., 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 perhaps that gives an opportunity for these other organizations to assist in this scenario. If any of these people are aware that Dreyfus is not like them, they might be more willing to assist. In which case, it won't be you and a handful of soldiers kicking in every door, but it'll be the full network of knowledge and ability of one or multiple of these other organizations.
You're
I mean-
asking for a pogrom, a purge.
No, well, it's already been done once before. Now, unfortunately, last time it happened, there was a bit of a recoil, wasn't there? And we're all dealing with the fallout. But if you're willing to offer, as an officer, and again, maybe one of the highest ranking ones in the city right now, a degree of clemency to the organization that aids you, she kind of shrugs. I don't know what kind of pull you have. I don't understand the laws well enough, and I do know that you're kind of out of your elements, not being from here, right? You're from back west. So that being said, if you could offer clemency, maybe one of these other organizations would be willing to help you ferret out these coffins. Knowing who makes them, who sells them, where they sell them to, where they're held, who watches after them, the different strongholds, his homes.
The merchants know that he's a vampire. They gave us the contacts.
They've also,
They-
I believe, likely had amicable deals with him before, so I don't know if they'd be willing to do that.
But then again, before, he wasn't making a play for the entire city. There was a balance.
That's true. They also did want to know when he bit the bucket. So they obviously have some play in mind. Maybe we can help them rush the schedule.
Well, we all know that the Kingsguard is more than willing to assist as well. So you already have the Kingsguard willing to assist. It's just their numbers are greatly limited. But beyond the Kingsguard, there are the merchants.
The Kingsguard are also the ones we're less likely to work with after they were big parts in the killing.
They'll
of,
do it of their own volition. and
Yeah.
would like more or less fight with us again after it's done. It'll be like business back
I'm-
to usual.
I'm friendly with the Kingsguard. From everything that's played out, I should say they're friendly with me. I'm not typically to their taste, to their liking. I should say I'm not typically to their liking, but they're working with me because of a mutual goal, and that mutual goal being Dreyfus. I can bring the information to them of what exactly is happening, and the Kingsguard could assist in this. If the merchants have more information or people willing to assist, this could potentially be done not back to square one, but with significantly more people behind you. More aid.
Yes, it comes down
it's
to
just-
probability again.
Yes,
Because all it takes is one.
you need to make a decision. Are you going to be outside the city hoping he's lured to you? Or are you going to be inside the city hoping he's lured away?
These are the questions. This is the decision we got to make. Oh god.
Don't ask me probability. I'm terrible at math.
We need. Well, we should find Pan and find out what information she's gained, because you never know. She might have something that is key information. We know that she's been scouting to get more information, so.
She
Plus,
might
you
have
know,
the
she's a key part
locations of a
this
couple
plan.
more sarcophagi if we're lucky. But what does that matter? As Viggo said, there's not enough of us to destroy them all. This needs
Well,
to be a
it
citywide
Might
thing.
influence our decision. If there's an issue of a couple that we can't get to, we can't destroy. We're guaranteed to not to destroy that she might have found. It's information we don't have. We need that information to make an informed decision, I think.
Do you?
I think
Did we get any extra information from Elvira that was particularly useful, that changed our plans? Unfortunately, we need to put our necks on the line, quite literally in the biting zone. We caused this problem for these people, and we can fix it now with their help. Peridel can fix it.
important thing to note about out of game. An important thing to know about the merchants. Didn't you guys use the merchants to smuggle yourselves in here in the first place?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're ones that already have dealings with the. So if there's anyone that you're going to offer clemency to, it's the most likely one. Yeah, yeah. So he says,
They're not a terrorist organization.
yeah, exactly. Yep. And in theory,
Also,
neither is the
the
Dice
black
Lords.
market is
So-
like something that's going to remain
gonna
in the city
happen.
no matter what.
Yeah.
So we might as well work with it.
Well,
Make sure it's not too bad. Not run by vampires.
I wonder if Rena and her friends are still in town. I know that her friend there, Ophios, certainly has a disliking for these kin. I think it was probably Ophios that killed my butler. With that being said, maybe you should go with your original plan, but lay seed elsewhere. If they're still in the city, maybe they can help. They're certainly capable at fighting, and if they fail, I'll get my books back. I mean, terrorists will be handled.
Are you
We
able to
could-
set up a meeting?
With them?
Yeah.
I can meet with them. I don't know if they'd want to meet with you.
We could.
No, I'm
set
not
it
sure they
in
want
such
to
a
meet with
way-
us.
If you can meet with them
Uh,
and work it out.
We could
that-
set it in such a way that there's two places where Dreyfus. There's two situations. Dreyfus either leaves the city himself, or he stays in the city and sends a lot of his guards. There's two areas he might end up if we set it up so that we're at one end and they're at the other.
Yeah,
That
I
might
think
be a good way to do it.
Yeah, so more or less, either we're in the city or at the other place, and they're at the opposite. That would be.
Exactly.
I would suggest you're fleeing.
I would agree.
I think that sounds more. I agree. I think having us be outside, ready to act, and them
Well, it
inside, ready to act.
comes
as a
down
state.
to the information isn't false.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
I think
I'm
that is
keenly
a good
aware.
idea.
And for the record,
Yeah.
the merchants, I can handle that for you as well. I can speak to the merchants.
Combination of all the ideas. Set up so that people are ready to move inside the city when things happen. And there's that moment where he's like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's obviously going to say, he's like, set it up so Rena's group is ready to attack should he remain. If not, he's coming to us.
He chuckles and he says, huh, knowing them and how they seem to be a little bit all over the map, we could set everything up perfectly. Everything goes according to plan. Soldiers go marching off in each of the four corners, and you are laid hidden to handle some of those that come your way without necessarily being too easily overwhelmed by the odds. Dreyfus remains and is exposed, and they approach and they assault. Oh, no, wait. They decided to get a panini instead. Knowing them.
Well, that is the gamble.
Hopefully, Dreyfus will kill some of them.
Well, like I said, I could get my books back.
Yeah. Yeah, we could bring their head to the River King. These are the ones that killed the prince.
Oh, win-win scenario.
Yeah, worst case.
All right, so... Sorry, Tesh, keep going.
Oh, so worst case, we at least clear out some of his locations in the city and maybe some of his soldiers that he sent after us.
Worst case, we'll die.
We finish it. Well,
worst case, we don't.
One of our groups, I think, will be okay.
Well, I can speak to the merchants and have that taken care of. I have friends among the merchants. I've been here longer than they have, or at least the ones alive have. And I can speak to Rena and her friends. That's not an issue. As for Delilah, or what was her name?
Yolanda.
No, don't think that was it.
Oh, Vera.
The rumor one.
No. Oh, the
Pan.
rumor one.
We need to
Pan.
speak with Pan.
That one. As for her, I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, we should speak with Pan.
So
one thing I want to do
we
before we finish, Scott, is I want to use this and try and think if there's any of those, like, more or less, what can I do with the prisoner that, if there is any, emergency things that more or less gives me jurisdiction legally to do whatever I want to do.
That's true. You'd have to have a library effectively to look through that, and you don't have time for that.
I can tell you that we're at war with Dreyfus. Dreyfus has declared war.
Yeah. So for Scott's sake, while he's thinking of that, I think we have to make a decision if we're going with this plan of like using the other group, because then they'll make things easier on Scott. So I think we need to make that.
Yes, we're working with the merchants. Yeah,
I think it's a really good idea to have all those groups converge, leave Rena's group inside the city if he stays, and draw draw soldiers away. Yeah, I think that's we're definitely going with that. Just making sure for the sake of 100%. Scott, so he can move ahead with things.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, I typed into the Roll20 to apply.
I think this is a good way of doing it, because that, as much as it's like in character, it sucks to rely on that group. Out of character, I think this is really good, because it means one way or another, one of our groups is fighting him.
So hypercognition is a perfect example of why I hate when additions last for too long. One of my biggest complaints about One of my biggest complaints about 3.5, which Pathfinder more or less just copy and pasted and added more to it, is that it used to be when there was a limited number of spells, wizards and sorcerers felt like wizards and sorcerers, clerics felt like clerics, druids felt like druids, and psionics felt like psionics. But then eventually more and more material came out that bled those together, and certainly the nail in the coffin was when they collaborated and added more together in something called the was it more or less a spell compendium or whatever it was called. It was a book that had all the spells and whatnot put together. The problem was that it more or less made it so every caster had a version of every spell, so nothing felt different. Hypercognition was specifically a psionic ability that other people didn't have access to, but now everybody has access to it. So it's like, instead of it being a psionic ability that's like super cool because it deals with the mind and memory and so on and so forth, it's like, yes, the druid casts hypercognition to remember something that it read in a scrap of paper once. It's like, cool. You know what I mean? Anyways, just that tangent about the issues of
That's
editions
kind
lasting
of
too long.
fit Viggo though.
If it's Viggo, yeah,
See,
yes, if it's Viggo, but not.
I definitely understand
Yeah.
that.
If it-
I kind of like the ability to do multiple things but flavor different ways.
So
Like,
the problem is when
understand
everybody
both
can do the
sides.
same thing but with slightly different flavor, it makes none of the classes unique. Or I should say, it makes none of the
I guess-
spell parts of the classes unique.
Yeah,
So.
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I guess with the way that I look at the game, it's less worried about each class feeling unique as being able to play unique characters in general.
Sure, but when you're like, my character is the necromancer and and somebody else walks in and goes, haha, me too, and like does it as well, and you're like, fuck you.
I understand that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's more. That's see, when I see that sort of thing, I worry more about the composition of players than I do like the composition of the game itself.
There are just some.
But I understand your point of view. Your point of view makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah. Well, there are things. So, and like something like this, like it makes perfect sense for Jake's character. But then if you have like 3 other people
Yeah.
walk in, like it's too good of an ability for me to not have. It takes away the
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
That's where I think it comes to
the players aspect.
managing
Yeah.
players,
Either way, that does exactly what you were saying, Jake. More or less, you cast a spell, or you spend a minute making a potion, you drink it, and instantly the next minutes or whatever it is for it to take effect. It is the same thing as doing the research based off of scraps of information you picked up along the way. You suddenly start remembering things that you heard while you were in the colleges, or read when you were in the libraries, or overheard while you were at a lunch, and or court hearings that you watched because you were bored. You know, things like that, and you get together. So you're welcome to make the knowledge. There'd be a local check, really.
Local or history?
History works. I'll allow history to work here.
All right, and that gives me a bonus of 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll add the 7. Where is it? Temp 7.
He has study drugs. Yeah, he cheats. Oof. Still good. It's 26, right?
Yeah.
Did you want to luck that, or are you happy with your 26?
Well, I think we've got like 1 luck, so I think we should save that one.
Okay, so what I would say is this: you are able to realize that there are ways that can be pardons. Unfortunately, pardoning of certain like misdemeanors and whatnot would be fine for your rank, but pardoning of like actual like bigger crimes is well outside of the purview of what you're allowed to do, and would require somebody of a higher rank to get it done. And certainly things like treason and like those highest things, that needs to be pardoned by like more or less princes and stuff like that, like things that are against Paradel and the overall well-being of it. So the bad news is,
What about execution?
oh, execution you're allowed to, like pardon from execution.
You know what I mean? No. Execution with.
He's
That's
not
right.
looking for a way out like Tristis. He's looking for a way.
Oh, you mean to
You know what I mean?
you're looking to give the order of
Well,
execution?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine with that. Yeah. In the moment you felt as though it was what was needed for the safety of Paradel, absolutely you can make that decision.
Okay.
And
As long as
then-
there's something written in the law.
Yeah.
I could
Absolutely. Now,
back
could you
myself up
get a
with.
slap on the wrist for doing something incorrectly because, you know, blah, 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 100%. If like other laws or other trials or whatever, turns out that you made the wrong decision, you can get a slap on the wrist or a demotion from it, but it's not like you're going to be thrown in prison for it. Unless, again, you did something particularly egregious, right? If you're dealing with somebody like Risen or her, your worst case scenario, slap on the wrist, right? So now let's go back to Risen. You were 100% out of your element and breaking all rules by pardoning Risen. That being said, you also know that if it was just Risen, you definitely have the prince's back on this one. You're not worried about it. You were giving a lot of autonomy and power and whatnot for this. If you start, I should say, the River Kings backing on this one. But if you start throwing it out like candy, you know what I mean? So with Risen, you're like, yeah, I broke the rules on this one. Whoops. But I'm pretty sure I can get away with it. You know, you're pretty confident in your ability to get, you know, but Mom, come on. Thanks.
He's also be pretty useful to the River King, I imagine, sir.
Yeah, in theory. Yeah. So with that being said, it is 11:01. I do have to get to work. I have a meeting in less than an hour, and I have to do more work, like a lot more work to make up for the fact that it's 11 o'clock. So we're going to have to end here. But in shorts, the plan is to lure everybody out and for you guys to deal with the outside while they deal with the inside. Cool. I still assume that Regicide is just going to get paninis instead. So.
Well, we can hope that they'll do the right thing.
No, absolutely not. You know that they're not even going to get their paninis pressed. Like, they're literally just going to eat them cold and soggy. It's Regicide.
Okay,
they don't follow any rules.
It's okay. I can press an arena with the Tuesday D&D game I'm in with a. Be like, no, you're doing this.
Today's Tuesday. No, today's Wednesday. Oh, well, they're playing on Friday, bro. Your time to press is over. Yep. All right. Well, as we get out of here, we're going to say goodbye and we're going to go raid Ollie. Hopefully things are not so miserable for Ollie. Hopefully temperatures for him have also been able to drop a good bit. So let's go raid that mad lad. Also, I haven't had a chance to message him, but I did make sure that all the art that he did on both channels was attributed to him. I think he just needs to accept those attributes because viewers that use those art pieces don't see that they're made by Ollie. I did attribute them to him like months ago. So if somebody wants to remind him to accept that way, it has that attribution, but if he doesn't want to, obviously that's, or if he doesn't know how, but cool. Bye everybody.